Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and the crew is back in full swing, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to get into. Planet of Lana releases today. Some of us have played it, some of us not so much yet. I have not had a chance. I've been running around. It's ready to rock and roll. Man, it's giving those inside vibes, and I say, yes, please. Can I have some more? Getting it, I plan on getting a tremendous amount of really good buzz from the gaming media. Shocking that that because of the Xbox exclusivity, Game Pass day and date, it didn't get a point or two stolen from it. I mean, indie darlings, as they're called and known, usually get great buzz, and this game is something I cannot wait to sink my teeth into. But of course, we're going to get into some of the showcase happenings, folks. There's a lot of fake lists going around. I saw an amazing video from Randall Thor 19 and actually, showed some of the fake lists, and they were pretty bad. Some of them were even misspelled, which is not definitely good if you're going to try and make a fake list and put it out there. Check your spell. Spell check does exist. And we're going to get into the potential, folks. Obviously, we know Starfield's going to be there front and center. We know that Todd Howard is going to be there in his leather bomber, as he's known to be. And we're going to get 20, maybe 25 minutes of full-on gameplay reveal. We're going to get some planet-side stuff. We're going to get some out of space. I'm sure they're going to show some what the ships look like, how you build them. But there is a potential, folks, to have three major Western RPGs there representing Xbox exclusives in Avowed, which is expected to be there in a big way. Fable, potentially, we don't know, but we know that it's in showable form. And of course, Starfield. And if you want to add to that potential, four banger, conversation, InXile just turned 20 years old. This is a studio that might have gone the way of the dodo if it wasn't for Microsoft purchasing them and bringing them into Xbox Game Studios. And they are working on Unreal Engine 5. Shout out to Infinite Umbra. And it's supposed to be AAA level on an existing Xbox IP. Now you can get those four there. I mean, that's a show. If they shut the blinds and close the doors after those four are shown, could we actually complain? The answer is, well, if you're complaining, maybe you're not playing games. But we have a lot to get into, and before we do, we got to do the introductions. And of course, the best hair in the business just washed. He washed it just for this show. Daniel McGee, what's up, dude? How's everything?
I watched it just for this and not because I woke up gross. I've never woken up gross in my life. That's never happened.
I love it.
That's not. You can't prove it. Doing good. I've had a pretty fun week. Been working on some fun video projects that I'm really excited about. Just started playing Tears of the Kingdom.
So
good. Which is real bad. Was going to be my next sentence. First of all, so I don't want to get into it. No, I don't want to get into it too much because I don't want to, piss off the chat too early.
No, listen, it's a conversational podcast, brother. If you're not liking it, you got to be honest with the peoples, right?
So first of all, I didn't buy it. I want to make that clear. The only reason that I have access to it is because a friend of mine did buy it and was like, "This is bad. I'm going to sell it back. Do you want to play it first?" And I was like, "I guess."
He gave it to the one guy on the planet that makes fun of Nintendo.
Here I am. There's dozens of us, Retri.
That's true. There are dozens of you.
I love it.
I just don't get it. Like I play the game and then I look at the reviews and I'm like, this feels like an elaborate gaslighting. Like I cannot believe that these are the reviews that this game is getting in 2023. I look at it and I'm like, this is a video game that it doesn't look good, right? And not because of the art style, but because like everything is just, well, first of all, it's at 720p, so that doesn't help. And then everything's just like really fuzzy because of a combination of being just not a particularly well-made sort of situation and because of anti-aliasing. So just everything looks like you're looking at it through like a 1/4 inch of Vaseline on your screen. It doesn't
grief.
Like I've run into just nonstop issues with it in terms of performance. Like I'll jump off an island and it'll start hitching, or
I have not had any of that.
I've run into 2 progress stopping bugs already, and I've only been playing it for like a day. Now,
Wow.
granted, one of them I kind of did to myself because it was something where I guess they just didn't focus test it very well, which is they don't give you the glider early enough, and so I got off of the tutorial island and I saw a rock falling, and I was like, okay, I know from like the gameplay trailers that I can use reverse time, get up to the top of this like littler sky island and get some hopefully fun loot. So I did that, got up there, and as soon as I stepped off the rock on the island, I saw the one that I had just stepped off dropped again. I was like, I can't reach that anymore. So I'm kind of just stuck up here. So I guess I'll have to figure that out. Hopefully the loot up here is at least worth it. Open the chest, 10 arrows. I'm like, cool. Wonderful.
Did it at least give
so,
you a little music?
I'm so glad that I've gotten these 10 arrows. I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, in the tutorial, they taught me that I can jump from any height and land in water and I'll be fine, right? Is there any water? No. Cool. Guess I'll just kill myself, respawn on top of the island.
Oh, wow.
So I'm stuck in this death loop
no.
of like, okay, well, I guess I'll just have to fast travel out of here. Oh, wait, I've just started the game, so I have to fast travel back to the tutorial island. Except there's no fast travel point on the tutorial island near the part where you jump off. So I have to fast travel to the far end of the tutorial island, go back through the entire island, do some of the puzzles again, and then jump off again and be like, well, I guess I'm not allowed to play this game until I find the glider. So that's where I've been, right?
That sounds like an awful time. I can say that I'm 40 hours in. I have found almost 40 of the shrines. I'm
up to like 10 hearts or something. Like I've been putting a effort into this game. There's a lot of it that I'm really, really hating though. Like man, like, so we still have all the shrines in the Koroks, and like those are still kind of lame, like from Breath of the Wild. But now they've also added this new guy called Addison, who has a haircut that looks like a penis. Right? First of all, let's just get that out of the way. And he's having trouble keeping his sign up, so he needs Link to help him erect his sign.
I'm gonna have to say pause.
And then turn to demon time.
When you help him do it, he gives you a sleepover ticket.
Yes, one of the things you get from him. Yeah,
look, all real.
At the end of the day, I understand you are apparently traumatized. So I say stop playing this game immediately.
Just by listening to what he just said.
I'm hurt for him because I can't say that I've had that terrible of a time with it. I've had no game-breaking bugs, so I don't know. But Daniel, we're happy that you're here, and we're sorry. I say go play Planet of Lana. You'll probably do much better than that launch today. It's getting unbelievable reviews. We're gonna get into some of those reviews. But listen, Retri, Mr. Game Pass, great show on Sunday with Dave. I mean, really, besides Crispy Bomb being, as awesome as he always is, you had Hargeet Chani with the best smile in the business, and man, he was dropping down some knowledge bombs left, right, and center. And, obviously we're going to get into a little bit of the clarification for ABK. I know there's been a lot of talk about they can't close over the CMA. Actually, they can. And I don't know if they will, because there is some wiggle room for the CMA not to look like boobs, where they there's something that they put out. There was like a letter before their final decision saying that if new evidence is brought to our attention, like the original console SLC was, they can, in fact, change their decision. And after what happened with the EU kind of throwing them under the bus, saying, hey, the UK closed for business, but here we accept everyone, it might be something that the CMA might do in the coming weeks. And then it's just up to Lena Khan and the FTC to fold, as we know they will. But Retri, Planet of Lana, it's a big game. You got a chance to play for about maybe 40 minutes, give or take. You're getting some inside vibes, which is
big time.
Exactly right up my alley. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I was able to play Planet of Lana for a little bit. I downloaded it as fast as I could. Luckily, it's only like 4 gig gigs, so it's a small indie game. But
Mhm.
yeah, within like 20 minutes, I was like, "Yep, this is just like Playdead's Inside," which is kind of what I've been waiting for a long time. I wanted
Mm.
that cool little indie puzzler game, and I just I thought some other studios were gonna bring out and hit, and it feels like this studio is definitely hitting that. It's just a prettier, more vibrant version, in my opinion, of Inside. If you've ever played
Yeah,
Inside,
Inside,
it's
I
one of
mean,
the best
obviously, it's
indies
very
ever.
dark and
It's
and
very dark
dreary.
tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I also love. But this is very much the opposite, kind of in a way. It's giving me kind of War of the Worlds vibes, which is pretty awesome. So when you guys get a chance to play it, I definitely would give this one a try. But yeah, I'm
Oh,
excited to be
yeah.
here. Boom, excited to talk about everything we're talking about today, ABK, whatever else we're talking about. So just happy to be here, man. Thanks for
Yeah, I
having me.
mean, we have a lot to get into. The news gods, the gaming news gods, as they were, have been very generous. And obviously, tomorrow is going to be Sony's show. We're expecting some big announcements and big reveals there. We'll be covering that tomorrow evening on the new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends, and then of course, well, the rest of the week you have your new episode of X Vlog live on Thursday at noon, followed by the Breakfast with Boom Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, those shows will probably have a lot to do with what Sony shows on Wednesday. And Thursday show may be how Microsoft responds in regards to, do they make any changes based on what Sony does? Because if we know, Umbra, in the past, the way it's normally gone for years is Microsoft would go first on a Sunday and Sony would go next on a Monday, giving Sony time to pivot, make changes, as they did in 2013, where they pulled the camera out of the box and they cut from all the words DMR or DRM.
They didn't want anything close to it. DMX, anything close
Nothing.
to it.
DMX. They had him
Yeah.
pegged to come out and sing, and they're like, no, we can't even have that because people are gonna
send them
associate
back
it
to
with
Yonkers.
yeah.
Send them back to Yonkers, New York.
Brothers.
It's over with.
How you been, Umbra? And congratulations once again, you and Danny hitting the 1K last week. Actually, last week was pretty crazy because not only did you guys hit 1K on Tuesday, I did my rally charge, if you will, on Friday morning's Breakfast at Boom, and Web Dave also hit 1K. Very happy and proud about that. But how you doing, man?
All that. Congratulations to you guys too. I didn't know you hit that. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yes,
but,
Friday morning, live on the air, just like with you and Danny.
Okay, yeah, congrats. No, man, I'm feeling good. Boom. I've been playing. I've been enjoying some Dead Island too. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I got to get to it, man. I'm so mad. I bought the deluxe edition and it's just sitting there.
You got
waiting
that
to
Zelda.
be played.
That darn Zelda is poisoning your mind.
That 720p masterpiece.
You better listen to Danny and put it down. It's poisoning you, I tell you.
That's what I'm saying. That's why when I have kids, I'm gonna keep them away from that Nintendo tank as long as I can until they're
put that
good
Switch down now.
They're not getting a Switch. They ain't getting nothing.
Yeah. He walk into his kids' room. They have the future Switch.
I will react to Nintendo like it's weed. I swear to Christ.
Who got you on this?
No, I learned it by watching you.
Right. I learned it by watching you, Dad. No, but seriously, man, I've been enjoying Dead Island 2. Boom. If you do get on and you want to do the co-op and whatever, I'll help you out.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Yeah, I'll take you up on that. I
didn't even know they had co-op.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard a lot of people say, Umbra, that the game is surprisingly polished, almost as good as Hi-Fi Rush is. And mind you, this is a game that was in development for over 9 years and saw 4 studios take on this thing.
Yeah,
the fact that it's running as well as it's running, mind blowing.
Yeah, it is really solid. Surprisingly, it runs at a solid 62 from what I can tell. I haven't seen many dips. I saw maybe one dip through my entire playthrough, and I've played at least a good 40 to 50 to 60 hours, I would say. It is really, really good. I'm done. I beat it already. I'm just doing side missions and stuff like that now. But yeah, if anybody has any doubts about Dead Island 2, don't. It is really worth it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. I tried to get on Planet of Lana, which I have installing now, but it didn't release until now. What the heck? How did you get it to play so soon, Richard?
Oh, well, all right.
Did you travel
Side note,
to
Side
New
note,
Zealand.
I didn't actually. Side note, Xbox did a poo-poo job. This wasn't advertised on the Xbox nor on PC anywhere on the front page, not even in the upcoming of games. So when I say there's issues with marketing, this is one of the things I'm talking about. Nowhere was it to be found. I had to literally do a search through the store.
Oh wow!
Which then told me it was $20.
That's what I
then
saw.
Said, "Oh, by the way, it's also in Game Pass," and then it allowed me to download it. So yeah,
See, it didn't even offer me that. I went to Xbox.com. It sold to $19.99. I went to do that, and it was just like showing me my credit card and PayPal or whatever. It showed nothing about
multiple.
games.
Yeah, I had to refresh it multiple times.
Wow.
You know,
after 11 o'clock. So
I'm glad you brought that up, Retri, because one of the things that's a bit perplexing to me. And listen, folks, you wouldn't tune in if I wasn't honest. Like I have no, I get nothing from Microsoft except enjoyment on my console. I'm not part of the cool kids. I don't get the free controllers. Obviously, you saw that I bought all of the Redfall ones by myself. And that's fine. I don't do this because I want things. I do this because I freaking love video games, and I've been playing since 1978, and it's been a part of my life for as long as I'm alive. So gaming is always going to be special to me. What I'm referring to and what I really meant to say is the fact that when you hear Retri, who is, by the way, Mr. Xbox Game Pass himself, when you hear that something is special, and again, I have not played it. I wanted to be completely clear, but I have watched every video.
That's good.
It's
good.
Incredibly in tune to the developer. They're very, very good when it comes to social media. They've been out there, hey, 1 hour to launch, and putting out all the scores, which we're going to get into. This game seems to be something incredibly special. And I will be more than happy to do my review once I run through it. But it is very concerning and disappointing, Retri. And this is not even a topic, folks, but you know what? This is a conversational podcast, so we're going to talk about it. At what point, guys, and chat, which we have over 400 people here, which is unbelievable. At what point does someone take the reins at marketing and be like, you know what? What we were doing is not working. This is an Xbox console exclusive, right? Meaning that it's not available on a PlayStation. It's not available on a Switch. It's available on Xbox, and I'm assuming PC. This is a special game. This game needs to be in the lights. It needs to be put out there, and everyone needs to know that it exists on Xbox Game Pass, because I'm sure they dropped the bag to get this game day and date in Game Pass. Retri, why does this continue to happen?
I don't know. That's a damn good question. I can tell you Railway Empire 2 has been sitting in the upcoming for over a frickin' week. And so is an Exo Primal, which doesn't come out for a while. So it's just weird to me. It's just weird to me in the upcoming section. It's nowhere to be seen for Planet of Lana, which I know a lot of people were looking forward to for a long time. It's kind of, it feels like kind of like one of those indie darling type of games. And I know it's not like the biggest deal, but it's just an annoyance. Like, how are you not putting this right in the frickin' front? Why isn't it there? It's not just that it has to be next to the AAAs. It's not even the upcoming section, guys. It's not there. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So it's just one of those little annoyance things that I'm just like hire me, guys. This would not be hard. Like, it's still fucking pitcher. Like,
I've been banging. Listen, I first of all, folks, I'm gonna be 53.
This isn't anything new, by the way. Right? This is not anything. No,
it's not new.
This has been going on forever. Microsoft. So let me just explain to you how bad Microsoft is at marketing sometimes. They literally forget about their own games coming out on Game Pass, and they put it in a section on Xbox Wired called In Case You Forgot. The In Case You Forgot section is when Xbox forgets that they had a thing coming out, and they have to shadow drop it after the fact. It's already come. Like, basically, they're like, oh, crap, we forgot to talk about it. And then they write up something called In Case You Forgot About It, because they forgot about it. It has happened multiple times. So I'm not trying to be negative on them, but
no, we're not trying to do a buzzkill here, but it's a conversation, right? Obviously, their showcase is around the corner, and it actually works right into, and we'll segue into Aaron Greenberg. Greeny is amazing. I mean, obviously, if you want someone, there is no better human being currently working for Xbox than Aaron Greenberg. The guy's a gem. There's no doubt about it. He tweeted yesterday. He was over at Bethesda, and he says, excited to have our marketing and PR teams here in person at Bethesda Studios to talk all things Starfield, which we know obviously is going to be a big deal in a couple of weeks, and obviously launch in September to a tremendous amount of fanfare. Again, excited for this. There's marketing in the UK of all places for Starfield. We saw people putting, taking pictures, in their stores. There's all kinds of, marketing for it. It's on buses. So the marketing is starting to turn, but it is mishaps like this, Umbra, that is a bit of a head scratcher. It continues to plague Xbox, and I kind of wonder what is actually happening.
I've heard all types of theories, Boom, and typically the most I've heard have been around the ABK situation. Oh, I think they're playing like this and playing meek and weak because the ABK thing and the scrutiny. I just don't buy it. I think they've been having this issue for way longer than that, and it's just a continued thing. And much like you said, Aaron is a great dude. All the love in the world to him. And I don't know if this is squarely on him, but I mean, that is his, that's his job. I'm not trying to throw shade, especially since he.
No, I mean, I'm looking at his title. His title is Vice President, Xbox Games Marketing at Microsoft, and he's a board member.
Absolutely. So, the smoke has to come his way, and unfortunately, but don't unfollow me, Aaron. But yeah, there has to be some changes, man.
No, he's a good dude. He wouldn't unfollow you.
If I check on there and he unfollowed me, I'm like, my message got through. But no, man, it's unfortunate because they have missed many opportunities to properly highlight these games. It's funny. Speaking of marketing, we were just seeing. I don't know if you all saw it, but there was speculation about why Final Fantasy 16 and whatever, etc., with Square Enix, skipped Xbox, and we were all thinking it was just because Sony money had at them, etc. But it's not really that, right? Etc. Rather, but it's a matter of they claim. Well, from one of the theories is, well, not theories, but one of the inside sources that Miles Dumpierre heard is that Sony has really good marketing deals for them in place that is really lucrative to them. And I'm like, well, Microsoft can do that 2 times over. Why aren't they doing that?
Yeah.
So that puzzles me. It confuses me when I hear things like that, because my first thought was, they probably likely upped the price 2 or 3 times over what they offered Sony. And I still kind of believe that was the case, knowing how Square did them when Microsoft first tried to enter the gaming space. If you all don't know, Microsoft was trying to buy Square when they first entered the gaming space back in 2001. They were going to launch owning them.
Back when they were good.
Yeah.
Back when they had the studios.
Back when they weren't focusing on NFTs and saying weird stuff about black people that they probably shouldn't.
Listen,
I'm going to say
that's just a little nickel we have to look past.
Oh my God, I knew you were going to say that. I was waiting for one of you.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but did you see that comment that Blessing put on it where he was just like, no, Yoshi P said those weren't being the game.
Oh my God, I did not see that.
I saw somebody else, a buddy of mine, said, there's no nickels in this game. I was like, no. Anyway. Yeah, I'm sorry. No,
listen,
this is a family show.
But you see that whole point. I know I don't want to go off a tangent. Going to talk about Square Enix, but this is why I will not support them. Yeah. I will not buy a single product from Square Enix until major change comes that way for those exact reasons.
No, I'm with you on that, and that bothers me with them too. Like, I do want to play Final Fantasy 16 because I'm a fan of Devil May Cry. You've heard me praising Hi-Fi Rush to heaven. And it's because the combat reminds me of Devil May Cry.
Very much so.
And you have the Devil May Cry choreographer, the combat designer who was leading it in there. So it's like, how can I not want to play that? I do desperately. And I've seen it in action. It looks really good. But I'm not buying it for $70. I have that stance. I stick with it. That's one. So I'm going to wait until it's really, really cheap. That's
you
two.
you can buy the way I figure you get it back at these publishers is if you want to play the game because you really are a fan of X, Y, and Z. Yeah, you know what you do? You get it used on eBay, man. So that no money goes into the someone already paid for this. So you're basically buying it secondhand, and secondhand money doesn't go to Square Enix.
Yeah, and I could do that too. Like the only problem with that is that I buy digital, so it's like
hard. Well, that's
the only problem. I could, I guess, make exceptions, but yeah, that's hard for me to go away from that. But my thing is, I do agree with you typically on that. So I have, for instance, I haven't played Final. I could easily play Final Fantasy Remake anytime I want it, from PS4 to the PS5 I have, but I just didn't. And I think it's the fact that in my head, at least, I have a distaste for how they've handled things and have excluded Xbox. I just don't know what it is, but you saw something even as small as the Inspector Gadget game. And I'm like, I'm never, ever going to try to play that, but how dare you skip Xbox? So and I feel like that, like I'm not ever supporting you. That's how I feel.
I got one that's a bit of a head scratcher. What about now? And again, I'm an OG, folks. I'm 53, so I'm old. Well, I'm going to be 53 in September. Let me not age myself. I still got some months at 52. What about every freaking platform in the entire universe has these the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 remake of the classic Final Fantasies in pixel art, every platform, even Amazon's Luna, but Xbox.
It's tiring to see that.
It
really is
bonkers to even suggest such a stupidity.
Yeah, it's tiring. And I don't, I know it's complex. I know it's not as simple as we might think, but it just gets tiring as, it's your favorite platform. Xbox is mine. It's all of you guys
as well.
I'm sure. And you always have this constant thing of like these people, these devs, and I'm going to say you people, these devs skipping out. And these people don't feel right after I said niggles and pointed that out. But but it have these developers. Let me try to get myself right, who are skipping out on Xbox. And even Jez pointed it out. It seems to be a common occurrence. So it's just tiring to see that. But as far as the marketing goes, yes, it seems like Microsoft kind of misses the ball when it comes to that. Not even just for third party, but even with first party, in my opinion. And I think they really need to correct that. Planet of Lana is getting reviews, I think, second only to what Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is getting right now.
We have some of them in front of us. Again, this is posted by the official website, Twitter account of Planet of Lana. Edge Magazine, 9 out of 10. Xbox Era, 9 out of 10. The Games Machine, 9.6 out of 10. Gaming Bolt, 9 out of 10. Games Radar Plus, 4.5 out of 5. And IGN France, 9.0 out of 10. I also have some other ones here in the notes. I mean, it's getting a tremendous amount of buzz. And that's amazing to see, because listen, if you've never built a game, and I never have, I would imagine that if you're a small team and you're trying to launch into this big world of gaming, there are certainly more uphill battles than there are sliding down the hills. And one of the things that I love about Xbox is that Chris Charler, who runs the indie aspect of ID at Xbox, it's incredibly important for small devs to get on the front page. That's the whole point of it. And the fact that Retri, who kind of knows his business, folks, if you're not sub to him, you probably should be. He does Game Pass content on a daily basis. If he's not seeing it, Umbra, it's a problem.
That's one thing I will give Xbox credit for. Like you said with Chris Charler, they have ever since, and I know it's probably a product of the issue of them not having AAAs the way they have, but they have embraced indies. And I love indies, and I love them. I love AA games. I love, indies in general. But there is a time for AAA, and that's what Xbox needs to correct. So that's why, we talked about this. But I will say that where they do right is they embrace the indies, and you can tell it's not something they're just, we're just going to do this until we get some AAAs out of the way, like Sony did, because Sony did that. Sony was, we're championing the indies and indie devs, and as soon as their AAA started happening, you didn't hear anything else about an indie once. I think, what was it, Octodad they talked about? I didn't hear about them talking about an indie game in that way, in that manner, at
I mean,
least
they
to
just
the
shut
degree.
down their last not AAA studio, so they
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly. So they push that aside, whereas Xbox has fully embraced it. And I appreciate that. And I think indie devs do appreciate it as well. But the problem is in how they're marketing them, because right now we have a lull where we don't have any AAA games, first party, at least for Microsoft. Okay, well then push these third party games, just like Sony's going to do. Push Planet of Lana and highlight that on the front of the Xbox screen when we turn on and see our UI. Push it out there with advertisement on the Xbox website. Push it into the apps when we load up our Xbox app or something like that. Really put it out, and then put a little campaign on Twitter, if you will. I know that's Aaron's part right there. Somebody pointed out that he's the social media marketing, but not the ads marketing. Okay, well, I don't expect them to put out a billboard for Planet of Lana, but socially they can absolutely increase what we've been seeing as far as it goes for them and for third party in general. Really get it out there. I think the whole message of just Game Pass is something they have to get away from. Start highlighting the reason why we should get Game Pass, not just Game Pass. You got 200 plus games or whatever they try to mark. What was it, 100 plus?
It's 100 plus.
It's really like 400.
Right, it's 400 plus.
I guess the sticky tag is 100. I don't know why they stick with that. If I would say, listen, you got hundreds of choices here.
Hundreds with an S. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I feel just like highlight why Game Pass is essential and why you should have it, and stuff like this where you highlight Planet of Lana and show those review scores it's getting and how great it is. Show that and say, hey, this is why you should be getting on this platform. And then when the time comes when you get these AAA games in there, showcase that too. This is why you need to have Game, and I'm sure they will at that point. But I just wish they would step it up a bit.
I agree, Dan. Let's get your hot take on this, and we're going to segue into the show, because that's the next big advertisement for Xbox, for Xbox Game Pass, and they have an opportunity. Some people even consider a need, if you will, to deliver on the future of the box. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's talk Planet of Lana. I know you haven't played it yet, but let's talk advertising, because hearing Retri have to go here, there, and everywhere to find a game that he knows is coming out, because he is Mr. Xbox Game Pass. What if you don't know about the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it potentially could hurt. And the sales factor is not even the issue. People are going to buy. My brother bought this game and he's a Game Pass dude. He was like, listen, I want to support the studio. This game is amazing. I cannot wait to play. He bought it.
You talking about Planet of Lana or Planet?
Yeah, Planet of Lana. So let's talk overall. Have you seen any improvement in marketing is the question, based on what Retri had to say, trying to find Planet of Lana, which we all knew was releasing today.
I mean, I think there is a difference to be made between discoverability and marketing. Because marketing, I think of that more as like the ads and all that stuff. Whereas for Planet of Lana, specifically for Retri, not being able to find it is really just a matter of discoverability. And I do think that some of that is probably just because it went live, like an hour ago or something, right? So I don't know. I'll wait and see after this if it's been put anywhere or whatever.
It's on the PC side right now, but my complaint wasn't that it's not. There's an upcoming section for every Game Pass game. It wasn't there. It's not just wasn't there.
See, I usually look at the whenever I'm looking for a new game, I usually just go to the like recently added.
Yes,
or
that's what I recently added.
Right after.
So that's all I know. I'm here on surface level. You go deeper than I do. So I don't know. In terms of marketing for like their other bigger AAA games, like yes, obviously they need to step that up a bit. I think that I know that there's some like concern for whether or not Starfield's going to get marketed properly. I can't imagine a world where it doesn't get marketed.
I agree there. I agree.
You look at what they did for Redfall, and even that was like a really big improvement over what they usually do.
Oh, 100%.
Redfall they already knew was not going to be good. Like even if it had hit the double digits, whatever internal metric that they had set it at, it was still only going to be like a 70. Like I don't think that they were particularly hyped about that game. Whereas Starfield is a much bigger, much more important game. So I'm imagining that, honestly, probably right after the showcase, it's just going to be everywhere. I think it's going to be basically unescapable. So that'll be exciting. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that they are improving on that front. I think that, you know, seeing the Xbox team getting together with the Bethesda team, because I think Bethesda historically has done better marketing, is always a good thing. You know, maybe Aaron Greenberg can go over and hear some news from Losi or whatever about like, hey, so here's how you tape a poster to a staircase in London or wherever that was. I don't know what that whole situation, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
Bethesda does a better job, so maybe they can come together and, you know, minimally they'll have double the team working on it because they'll have both Xbox and Bethesda trying to push it out there theoretically. So I think it'll be good. As far as Planet of Lana, genuinely no idea. Right, like I barely know what this game is. Like I've seen it in a couple trailers here and there on different showcases. I feel like it's been in development for a very long time. I honestly don't know. I guess I'll give it a shot. I still have to get through Benedict Fox and Ravenlock first because those two look more interesting to me personally, and I haven't touched them yet. So I don't know, but you know, it's getting very good review scores, so that's got to mean something, right?
Well, I mean, obviously, again, I haven't played it. Again, it's something I'm going to get to today for sure. I don't know how long it is. I would imagine it's only 4 gigs. It's probably going to be about maybe 6 or 8 hours, depending on if you are someone like myself. I'll spend, you know, that and half of it because I like getting all the collectibles. This is something I'll definitely hunt for the 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements. But look, at the end of the day, they need to do better. A perfect example of this, what is being noted as an indie darling of 2023. You want to see it put its best foot forward. And if our Xbox insider, if you will, Retry, cannot find this game, that's a freaking problem. And they need to be better. They definitely need to be better. But I want to talk about the showcase, folks, because there are a lot of rumors. We've heard Jez Corden of Windows Central, good friend of this program, great friend of the community, one half of the Xbox 2 podcast with Randall Thor 19. He knows about 5 of the games that are going to be there. And he said that he's very excited. An excited Jez makes me 10 times excited because normally nothing really excites him. He's always like, you know, it's going to be this. So, you know who Jez is, right? So if he's excited, that has me doubly excited. But before we get to the showcase and the potential of 4 Western RPGs being there in a huge freaking way, we catch up on the super chats. The first one is Nintendon the Otaku, and he drops a very generous $5 super chat, Daniel. And he says, progress stopping bugs.
Yep.
You just don't know how to play.
Oh,
you don't get the glider until you finish the tutorial. It's okay to admit you have no taste. Oh my goodness.
Let me push back on that a little bit. So you don't get the glider after the tutorial. You have to do the tutorial, get off the tutorial island, then go to, I don't know, Dickhead Landing or whatever that place is called, and mess around with Purah for about an hour and a half before they give you the glider. So it's okay to admit that you don't remember the beginning of the game. I guess it would be the more important thing to point out. Also, I love you and respect you, and I'm glad that you're here.
Well, I mean, listen, we appreciate it as well. And thank you so much for the generosity, Nintendon. We also have Raiden Blade drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, I have a way out for the CMA. Genius can be right most of the time and can be wrong more than once. Just come clean. You don't understand Game Pass and cloud. Well, that's why they have that. I got to find it. You know what? I'm going to reach out to Everborn to see if he can send it to me because he did send it to me. Apparently, it's this thing that they normally send out after an announcement on whether they block or they approve. And apparently, there is an out for the CMA to take. And it comes in the form of new evidence can be brought to their attention before their final stamp that says it's blocked. That allows for potentially Microsoft to say, wait a second, you guys got the numbers wrong again, the same way they got the console SLC wrong, and they had to tuck their tail between their legs and be like, yeah, you know, it's not going to hurt Sony, so we're going to get you, we're going to use cloud. So apparently the cloud numbers that they got wrong are worse off than the console numbers they got wrong. And if they want to save face, because it kind of seemed as if they were really kind of digging their heels in the sand when the EU announced. They were like, no, we stand by our decision. They put out that flurry of 4 tweets, which was out of character. They've never done that before, ever. So they obviously know that they were going to get, they were wrong, and they were defending themselves. I don't know if Parliament getting involved and the Prime Minister getting involved, and the overall ramifications of them blocking this deal, the EU approving it, and now other companies, especially big companies around the world, being like, whoa, wait a second, you blocked this big merger from your partner that's been in the UK with you for 4 decades, has made millions and millions of dollars of investment, brought thousands upon thousands of jobs to your region, and this is how you treat them. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to invest in the UK, but the EU seems to be apparently open for business. So I don't know if governmental influence is going to be like, guys, we're going to have to figure this out because nobody's going to want to invest in, and we're post-Brexit and our economy is tanking. What the H? So there is a chance. Pardon me, as some.
Yeah, I would just
go by.
I'm glad it wasn't me this time. I was just gonna say, the Red Tree had to make sure to point out that you always hear sirens when I go live. I'm like, look, I'm in Chicago.
In the chai, right?
I'm in Chicago. All right, listen.
Lots of sirens in Chicago.
You got to deal with these sirens and gunshot. No, I'm joking.
Only good thing is Chicago's pizza. We all know it. It's okay to admit it.
Hey, we got Italian beef too. Don't forget that.
Oh, okay. I haven't had that
yet. I never heard that. Yeah, that's new.
Which one of it? Oh man, I forgot.
I've never heard that before.
Oh, you all are missing out on some delicacy. Anyway, before I start mouth watering over here, I was going to say part of the situation, and like he said, they can save face. They just have to have Cat, go through there and say, hey, you all did the math wrong on this, and we know what the math they got wrong, which was calculating Xbox users total, Xbox Game Pass users as cloud users. Yeah, right? Just admit that was wrong and move on. That's all they have to do, because you can see that the pressure is on. It's obvious. If you have the UK, Parliament and such asking them those type of questions that we would ask,
right?
Something is clearly affecting them where they're like, hey, yeah, you sure you did this right? Like if they're asking them that, clearly it's going above and beyond. And
I mean, Cat themselves can pass it. If it goes to Cat, first of all, if it gets approved for it to be looked upon, Cat's going to get it. And the Cat could basically look and say, okay, well, the console SLC was removed. And again, folks, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. So if I'm getting it wrong, I'm a boo. But I'm only telling you what I've read with Foley and Muller, FOSS Patents, as well as Post Up and talking with Everborn Saga, who kind of knows the business. If Cat takes a look at it and the SLC for cloud is quashed, if you will, they don't have to send it back to the CMA because the CMA got it wrong. They fixed it, and now the reason for the block, which of course is cloud, is it can be ratified.
I got to tell you, it's confusing because I see so many mixed messages and I've heard so many mixed things. Even when we had Luke on the show, he more or less pointed to us that the CMA is almost like I said, when I said who watches the Watchmen. So it goes to Cat, they send it back, and then CMA can still say, nope, we got it right, the end.
Right.
So I don't know how it works over there. It's way different than it is over here. They can't just do anything over here to FTC. You got Supreme Court that can overrule them. So I don't know how that works over there exactly, but I do know that Microsoft
someone in government can overrule the CMA if it's going to potentially
that's true. If it's going to potentially
financially hurt
that's
the
true.
UK, and ultimately if they allow the CMA to do whatever they want, which is why, and what's crazy is they're looking to add more power to the CMA. Good luck, UK.
I saw that.
Just like the FTC.
Good luck with that, Charlie Brown.
So much just like the FTC. Like, hey, we need an extra $400 million, and the government's like, say what? And it's exactly the same thing that's happening over there. Like, say what?
It's very odd. It's very odd. But I'll say that listen, reading what Mueller, false patents, what he had said, that Microsoft can go ahead and just say, hey, we have acquired them. They can waive any of that right there when it comes to
the worst case scenario is Microsoft would find 5% of global earnings, which could potentially be
up to like
negotiated.
Yeah,
no,
but a lot of money though.
But
it's a lot over
but
time.
here's the thing.
This is why Luke is so like, I just can't see it happening, because that's what he's mentioned to me.
But there's a reason for it, because Microsoft is going to lose $3 billion if the deal does not go through. So you got to ask yourself, do they weigh the loss of $3 billion and then, of course, the deal of a lifetime of owning Call of Duty, getting into PC with Blizzard, and of course, doing a monster splash with King in mobile? Is it worth paying the fine?
And that's what I was saying, Boom, because according to false patents, they don't have to even go through the point of trying to go through the breakup date. They can just say, hey, we've acquired them, and waive the point of anything else. They would still have to battle the CMA to allow it over there. That can still be done.
Yes, that can be done while they have ownership of it. Correct.
This doesn't stop them from acquiring them. It's only a matter of putting it over there in their markets. That's the only thing. So they can still waive that according to false patents. Now, I just read this. He posted it earlier before, I think 3 a.m. for me. So I think he's German, so it's probably like afternoon for him. But yeah. So, but they can still acquire them. They don't have to wait until, he said they'll probably wait until the end of next month, but they don't have to go around and go through the 3 billion process, which they probably won't. They'll probably just say, all right,
they'll close before the July 18th breakup date. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. They're going to close before then. Yeah. Well, listen, only time is going to tell, folks. But listen, let's get into the rest of the super chats, and we can get into the showcase, which I think is going to be. I know there's a lot of people talking about breaking point for Xbox. It seems like every show is a breaking point for Xbox, and yet still we're here, and it's still a viable platform that everybody wants to play on. At least I want to play on it. Scarlet Scarab drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, love the show, Boom. Have you guys heard of a new gaming system called the XBHD? It's made by Eon, allows you to play OG Xbox games at a resolution of up to 1080p. I did not know that, and thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the content, brother. Thank you for the generosity. I gotta look into that. There's just so many handhelds coming out. Again, obviously, you have the Steam Deck that's out there that's doing really well, and you have the new the ROG Ally releasing in June, very soon, as a matter of fact. Raiden Blade drops a very generous £5 super chat, additional £5 super chat, and says, the SIE showcase is a PlayStation trap. No Spider-Man at the showcase, as they are saying, saving it for after Starfield, just like they did with God of War Ragnarok. Sony goes last always. I don't suspect Spider-Man is gonna miss that show, dude.
No chance.
I would be floored. I think Spider-Man gets like 10 minutes of gameplay and a lead up. I think that's gonna be there. I think we even get a chance to see maybe a pinch of Wolverine. I'm expecting those at least to be there. We know Ghost of Tsushima is not going to be there. We know that Metal Gear is, but Metal Gear has been confirmed as launching as a multi-plat, so that kind of takes the wind out of the sails for Sony and their year of exclusives. It
also made me think then that Castlevania may also be multi.
Castlevania, there's no way. As a matter of fact,
assuming it's real,
assuming it's real, and the rumors of it being like a Souls-like Castlevania game would be pretty awesome, but it's not going to be console exclusive. I think the only thing that they have console exclusivity for a year is the Silent Hill 2 remake. Yeah. And that's a year. But then again, when you say a year, Final Fantasy VII never came. So you just never know. We have Raiden Blade drops an additional £2 super chat and says, Starfield 30 to 40 million day one, just saying. I mean, I think anyone is going to download the game. I don't know. I mean, there's no console, at least not that we know of yet. And we know there's a controller, which I'm definitely going to buy one of those.
30 to 40 million is a lot, though. I know it's the most wishlisted thing on Steam, but
10 million, I think, in the first week.
30 to 40 would be like more than Zelda, and that's not going to happen. It's going to do well. It's not going to do better than Zelda.
I think that this you'll see numbers of 10+ million in the first week of Starfield, simply because it is on number one in everyone's wish list on Steam, on PC, on Xbox. So it's a Bethesda game, folks.
Are you talking sales or engagement?
12? It's going to be engagement.
I can't say sales because does anyone even do sales metrics anymore? It's at least how it's been for the last couple of years.
Only Sony and Nintendo,
right?
Yeah, so I mean. Again, listen, people are going to buy it, but that's the whole point of having Game Pass. You don't have to buy it. You can just play it in your subscription service, and I'm good with that.
They'll probably do metrics and say 10 million or 15 million probably played it by
downloaded it or whatever.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's possible. We'll see. That's going to be very interesting. Obviously, the showcase, which we're going to get into in a second, is going to determine whether or not the hype factor is turned up to 14. Darren Haywood drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, despite having Game Pass Ultimate, I'm buying the Starfield Collector's Edition controller and headset. The game will be generational. I agree. And if there is a Collector's Edition, I will buy that. I wish there was a console to buy, but there apparently is not. There is a controller. The headset, I don't know. I have two. I have the original, new headset, and I have the 20th anniversary. Do I really need a third? I don't know.
If they have the controller, I'll definitely be buying
that controller leak apparently is real, so that's what it's going to look like. And yes, I'm definitely buying one of those
too. I like the look of it.
Yeah, nice clean look,
really good. It almost looks like something that Pope made almost.
Yeah, exactly. And Pope has talent. Pope, I have a couple of his controls, as a matter of fact. Chris R drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I'll admit my hype for this show is pretty low after last year, but I'll still watch with friends and hope to be surprised. I mean, Chris, you're not wrong. Last year, they got it wrong, man. I mean, I gave it like an 8 or 8.5. I enjoyed the show, but that 12-month thing was just dreadful. Supposedly, according to Jez, they're not doing that again.
I hope not. It's crazy though, because I thought the show was solid. Like, I think I gave it like an 8 too. But I'm hearing a lot of people, they're like, they didn't really care for it. I'm a little surprised. But I think
it was a good show.
I think this show will outdo last year for a fact. I think. I think if you were feeling that way, Chris, I think you should put those fears aside. I think this year they're about to unleash for some of these.
I have monster expectations. As far as me as an Xbox fan, the best show that I've seen in the last decade was the 2020 show, where we got
no question.
It's one of their best shows ever. I have a strong feeling, and again, maybe it's just being a bot, if you guys will. I have a strong suspicion that this show is going to be as impactful, potentially more impactful than the 2020 show, because not only are we getting Starfield to have its own space to breathe, a lot of the games that we've been waiting for that were shown there, Avowed, Fable, and a few others. State of Decay 3, maybe we get an update on all of those games with gameplay, and potentially, at least, maybe we get the Hellblade announcement for the fall, which would be dope. Followed by, hey, you can expect these games coming soon. I don't think they'll give a year. Like, it won't say 2024 holiday, but they will at least let us know, and we'll get a chance to see them in action. You know what? Let's get into. First of all, Hitman. Oh wow, brother! He drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he drops a code for Planet of Lana. Thanks so much for the generosity, Hitman. That's very kind of you. And whoever got it, please thank Hitman for the generosity. That is pretty dope. Highlander 001 drops a $5 super chat and says, "I turned 55 on Sunday." Yo, dude, double nickels. What's going on, brother? Congratulations. we all survived COVID. So yes, anyone over 50. You can appreciate it because it wasn't good a couple of years ago. Happy birthday, brother. Happy belated birthday. He says, my wife pre-ordered. Oh, dude, that's nice. The ROG Ally as my big gift. Cannot wait to play my Xbox games and WoW on it. Great when we travel. Indeed, that's a monster console. I can't wait to own it. That's a fantastic gift. Absolutely. Kudos. Yeah. And again, happy birthday, turning 55 in this world, which kind of sucks, to be honest with you. And it's so crime ridden, especially here in New York. I'm happy to get up in the morning, folks, to do these shows. But listen, speaking of shows, I want to start with Retri. There's a lot to be said about expectations. Some people say don't have high expectations. Boom. What are your thoughts? What are your expectations?
I hate that. I honestly, I hate that thought process. Like, it's almost like being hyped about stuff. Like, you can't be hyped anymore. And that, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, dude, like, be excited. Who cares? I don't care if you get overhyped. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm expecting this show to be better than the last show. And I think it will be. I think we're going to just get more gameplay. You know, I know, you know, the CGI trailers and stuff bother a lot of people. They don't bother me. It gets me hyped for upcoming
Not
games.
at all.
Which I do think we will see, because Phil did kind of tip his hat saying we're gonna see stuff we haven't heard of yet. So there's gonna be brand new stuff. So expect some CGI little teases of whatever new projects any of the Xbox
but when
Game
did we get away, Retri? Sorry to interrupt, brother, but
No,
when did we as a gaming group go away from CG trailers being bad? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be like a D-bag about it.
I think it has to do with people. There's like a certain subset of the community that hate when they find out about a game like 5 years before it releases, and I can kind of understand that. But again, this is where I like the Xbox marketing, that they started to do what Sony's been doing forever.
Yep.
I guess I'm okay with that. Like, if there's so many games that come out, guys, like, just be patient. Like, remember, like, we always want the games to come out in their best form. So let them be delayed, let them come out years from now or whatever. But I think being excited about this stuff is fun. That's why we do, like, go to speculation town. This is why we talk about this stuff. Like, that's the stuff that I enjoy. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with being excited or even overly excited. And don't let some a-hole on the internet slow you down, including me. Like, you know what I mean? Anybody. Don't let anyone else, like, deter you from getting excited about something. This is a hobby. We're supposed to have fun with it. So be excited about it. I'm super hyped for this one. Like, after what we saw Xbox do in their last direct, like, I can see them shifting with marketing and what they're doing. I do see a positive direction. We watched Redfall was heavily marketed. They had a new trailer that came out every day, like 6 days in a row. When you were trying, if you on the Xbox, they had a new Redfall trailer 6 days in a row that was pushing out for the controllers. If you wanted to win them, you had to watch the trailer, and it was a different one every time. I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. So when it comes to the showcase, you know, I'm super excited about it. I'd like to see some Fable, but my thing is Avowed. Like, I'm all about, I want to see Avowed so bad. I just want to see what Obsidian has been working on for years. I'm super excited for this team. Like I've said in the past, I think this is kind of like the team that people are going to talk about years from now.
They're one of the top 5 developers that Microsoft has as first party. Let me ask you something, Retri. We know that you're excited for Avowed. It takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe, which is fantastic for anyone that knows it. I'm unaware of it because I never played Pillars of Eternity. I know Jez Corden is just talked about it, as a matter of fact, on the Xbox too, that he's a big fan of it. He likes how dark and gritty and brought to close to reality that it is, which gets me excited. But Richard, the question that I have for you, and of course I'm throwing this out here to the panel. Of course I'm throwing it out here for the near 700 people that we have here, which is awesome. Is there a world where Xbox shows Fable, Avowed, Starfield, and we get a reveal trailer of what InXile is working on? I mean, I gotta tell you, folks, if you are an RPG fanatic, and I am, and I know Zemi Games is, who's listening right now, and he'll be joining us. Folks, if you didn't know, I'm not going to LA. I'm not flying out to LA for the watch party. I didn't get the invite, but I will say, someone did reach out to me and offer me their +1, which is amazing. I was going out to LA. E3 canceled. I canceled everything because I'm like, well, I'm not going to go out there. And again, I didn't know Microsoft was going to have a in-person watch party. Now it's too late. So I'm going to be covering it here, as I always am, and we're going to have these 3 gentlemen here. We're doing a post-show right after the Starfield reveal. Of course, is coming right after the Xbox show. We'll be covering that live. Zemi Games, who's a big RPG guy, will be joining us as well. I mean, Retri, can Microsoft respond to critics with these 4 monster games being shown? Is it possible to get all four of these reveals at this show? Do they actually need it to happen?
Needs a strong word. I don't know. I mean, I think the show, let's just say all the other 3 are there. Maybe the question mark for me would be InXile out of the 4 of this, which I do think they will show something from InXile, whether that is
They just turned 20. I kind of feel like the timing is right. Is right. Yeah. They just celebrated the 20th anniversary of the studio. Man, talk about a coming out party for your new IP.
I mean, it's been a long time since Wasteland 3 came out. I mean, it's been what, like 3? Has it been 3 years maybe?
So feels like longer.
Yeah, like it's been a hot minute since we've had Wasteland 3. So they certainly should. I don't know if we're going to see gameplay, but I really think they should be definitely teasing something from InXile, whether that is going to be what I'm looking forward to, which is the cyberpunk, if it's real, the cyberpunk first-person shooter.
I believe it is.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the cyberpunk DLC. Do you know? You might know better than me, because they had marketing for Cyberpunk, which turned out to kind of bite them in the ass, but it is what it is.
They have the marketing for the DLC.
Okay,
they do.
So that all goes together. Cool, because I think people are excited for that DLC. So that'll
be based on how that game has transformed from broken to being one of the best RPGs probably ever. That I'm only 15 hours in, and I got to get back to beating that game.
I loved that game, broken and all. Like the issue, I didn't face so many issues, fortunately. And I played it on my 1X at the time, but I loved that game, so I'm really hyped for the DLC. But I was going to say, as far as this situation here, I think the InXile will definitely at least announce it. I mean, yeah, I think it's been enough time since 100%. They've been working on Wasteland 3 to now, and we've heard so many details. For Jazz to have heard as much as he's heard, and have so much detail as he's put out there, I think they have enough to show proof of concept at the very least. So I would love to see it. I think they will, personally.
I am excited for that, because InXile for me isn't a studio that excites me, but I want this cyberpunk, if it's cyberpunk RPG first person shooter, to be the one that makes me go, yeah, InXile. Then there's also the other rumor of the the possible isometric RPG, and people are saying could that be Fallout.
I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking.
It feels right. You know what I mean? Like it just feels right.
Well, they said established IP,
right?
Yeah, but they've also been doing a lot of tweets about like Star Wars and stuff. I don't know if that's like I don't know if that's them like actually teasing something.
Freaking,
but there's been a lot of
crazy
that side of thing.
Now, do you think that, Daniel, on that regard, do you think it would still be like an isometric?
Before you answer that, I wanted to clarify, by the way, because people are correcting it. They're saying not cyberpunk, but steampunk.
Steampunk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I said that wrong. Yeah, multiple. Yeah, steampunk. Yeah, steampunk. I don't. Do you think that could be an isometric Star Wars?
That would be kind of freaking dope.
I mean, isometric just means it's a top-down view, right? I mean, it could be like a tactics style game, anything like that. I don't know. Like, it certainly could. Star Wars has been everything, so I don't see why it couldn't be that.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to have them expand out into that. But this, you guys are talking about the Ubisoft one?
No.
We're talking about InXile is working on multiple games.
The one that was.
Gotcha. Okay, I was going to say
the one that was going to be the established IP.
Got you. I was going to say there's no chance in the world that Ubisoft is doing a top-down isometric. That would be a completely
out of Towers a top-down game. We can't see that,
right? Yeah, and they can't have an expansive map or something. But no, I actually am wondering what they'll do, and I'm wondering too what InXile is actually working on. Wouldn't it be crazy if they're actually like secretly working on like Fallout, like some spinoff or something like that?
Well, I mean, again, the quote unquote established franchise, I mean, can be Star Wars. That's established, but the way that they broke it down, the way it was, the stories that I read about 3 or 4 of them. It's an established Xbox IP. So that to me says it just screams Fallout.
I mean, how many people complain that Fallout? Oh God, because we're not gonna see Fallout forever. It's gonna take forever to see.
40.
There is a rumor.
So this is a good idea for them.
Yeah,
to
well, I know that we're talking. I know we're talking RPGs, Retri. I know that we, there is a rumor, and again, this is not confirmed. Take it with a freaking grain of salt. And I'm going to quote Jez Corden, as I always do, on the Xbox 2 podcast, another 4-hour epic show that if you're like me doing housework and you need something to really, as you're vacuuming and cleaning and everything, you need something to take your mind off of it and just get it done. That's the show I love listening to, along with ILP and several others. But Jez Corden said, and I think it was actually Rand that brought it up, that there's a rumor that Starfield does take place in the Fallout universe just hundreds of years past Fallout, and there is potentially an actual Fallout planet that you could land on.
Well, he said that on our podcast. He said that on our podcast, joking.
Oh, okay. So I mean, he mentioned it again. He mentioned it again on the Xbox 2 podcast. So that would be actually. I mean, again, I think they should have a Fallout plan. Why wouldn't they? For crying out loud! I think that you're missing the mark if you are.
You know what they're missing out on, and I will give Sony credit for this, where they remaster their games. Now we make fun of Sony for this because they overdo it, but how great would it be to have an Unreal Engine 5? I know, I'm sorry, I had to say
it had to be an Unreal Engine, sure, of course,
but an Unreal Engine 5 remaster or remake rather of Fallout 3 and 4, a collection, if you will.
It's funny you say that.
Well,
it's
the isometric one.
He did say collections.
Collection.
And
Phil
New Vegas.
Spencer did say collections with an S.
Absolutely.
So,
imagine doing that. Now we're hearing rumors, obviously, of the Gears collection and Unreal. Yeah, that's cool. I'm not super excited because I've played enough of them where it's like, okay, they looked gorgeous before to me. I know it's going to look more gorgeous, but like I would rather they do something like that with Fable. Or
they should have been a Fable collection. 100%.
Yeah, do that with that. Hell, Elder Scrolls. If they did Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Skyrim, I don't even need Skyrim. Just do Oblivion. Yeah. That's on my Mount Rushmore. Do that over.
Dude, Oblivion is
I would buy
collector's edition in
chef's
kiss condition, brother.
I would buy that. Do Fable. Fable 1 and 2. Do that over.
Fable, something that actually is old, not something that's still like,
well,
that just looks great.
That's sort of what I'm thinking is, I mean, if the InXile thing, even if the InXile thing is just a remake of the first 2 Fallouts in like a more modern way, I'd pop for that. Like that's
that's actually would be it would shake the tree, if you will. And again, the difference between Xbox and PlayStation, obviously Microsoft's going for, hey, we got something for everyone. I don't think that's wrong. I think that's actually the correct approach. I know a lot of people are like, no, I just want my over-the-shoulder banger. Boom. Okay. I mean, there's a console for you. It's called PS5. Get it. I have one. It's great. But I like the ideology, Daniel, that we're seeing. And I'll get to Umber in a second about this, but I do want to go to Daniel on this. What for you? Obviously, the show is going to be. There's a lot riding on the show, depending on who you ask. Now, maybe you don't feel the same way. I don't. I think they're going to deliver. I think that we heard Phil Spencer talk about Showcase. He's very happy with it. He's already seen the future. Xbox is at a point where they can see the 1 game per quarter, and that's awesome because that's what they promised. The Showcase is going to be a big deal. My question to you is there a showcase where we actually see 4 monster Xbox RPG exclusives shown to the masses?
Yeah, well, I think depending on how loose your description of RPG is, I think that's almost guaranteed, because I think that we're pretty much 100% going to get Avowed and Hellblade. Avowed for sure is an RPG. Hellblade arguable. Like I think there was a leveling system in the
more
first
of an action, but it could be an RPG type of deal.
Elements. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. And then the other 2 that we've been talking about are what, InXile's game, and what was the 4th one?
Well, Starfield, obviously. Starfield.
Starfield.
And InXile's obviously potential AAA or established IP.
Yeah, so I mean, InXile is one of the last sort of studios in the Xbox family that we don't already know what they're working on for sure. Like, it hasn't been announced. Like, I think it's pretty much just them, Compulsion, and Coalition. As far as I'm aware, I might be wrong on that, but I think we know at least one project that basically every other team is working on. So yeah, I think that it would be a good time for us to see something from InXile, and I think because Phil Spencer specifically said we were going to see new first-party games that we hadn't seen before, I think there's a really good shot at it. I wouldn't necessarily be like super shocked if it wasn't there, but I think that there's a higher chance that it will be than it won't. As far as like, is this gonna have to be like the biggest showcase of all time? No, I think that if you look at the timetables of just where the games are and sort of what games we know about and what games we don't, and what the last time we've seen some of these games are, I think if you look at it just realistically, it's probably going to be one of their bigger shows, though. Just not even like putting expectations on it. I think if you just kind of look at where we are in the timetables of what's next, I think we're at a point where there's a lot of new things that we have to see and a lot of things we haven't seen for a while that we also have to see. And are we going to be talking about the PlayStation one at all, or should I just throw that in here as well?
No. I mean, we can absolutely give our expectations for it at the back end.
Yeah.
Of the show. Absolutely. Why don't we do that? Because obviously that would be an interesting conversation. I mean, it's an Xbox show, but obviously PlayStation does matter. At least it matters for a lot of people. It matters to me because I'm a PlayStation player. But yeah, we'll talk about that on the back end.
Okay, cool. Because I've already chosen violence today, and I've got some things to say about that show. But
I like the violence choice, sir. I do
in terms of how it affects the Xbox One, just to throw that in here real fast. I know that some people, like, I've seen a lot of specifically podcasts and like content creator type stuff where it's like, oh, this showcase that they're doing tomorrow is going to put huge pressure on Xbox. And it's like, first of all, they're already under huge pressure, so I don't think that this is really going to do anything to them. And secondly, just looking at how fast the games industry moved, I think that the fact that there's like 2 full weeks between the showcases is going to mean that both of them are going to be able to have their own day in the sun. So I don't think they need to worry about it too much. I mean, people are obviously going to compare them, but they're going to compare them no matter what. So I don't think that there's any like added stress there. I don't know.
I agree. Plus, it's locked in. It's not like they're going to change anything, right, Daniel? Like whatever they're going to do for Xbox, it's not going to change
like minor things.
Right.
And we'll be able to see what those things are.
You've been dubbed Violence McG.
Yeah, that's my Metal Gear name. I'll show up with an eye patch and a piece of metal sticking out of my head in the next week. But yeah, no, I think that there's a very high chance that the Xbox Showcase will be one of their better ones in a very long time, and not because it needs to be, but just because when you look at it, it just makes sense. Like, it just makes sense that this is the point that we're at.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So many great games coming out.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It is. I want to know if it's possible, because Raiden Blade had hit a super chat right before the next one on your list, which would be from Darren Haywood. He said it was missed.
Sorry,
I'm not sure what his super chat was, but I'm going to guess and assume.
He said Rain Blade dropped a 2-pound super. All right, so the 2 before that were the SIE showcase
and the Starfield, 30 to 40 million. He said it was one right after that too. So basically, I highlighted what his basic gist was. He was trying to say that 22 currently ESO has a current player and sub list of subs of 22.46 million.
Okay.
And he says if they get really good, actually,
that's shockingly good.
And if they get behind Starfield like they should, it could have 30 million Xbox people that's played it and such.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. I mean, I don't see it on my list. Maybe I if I missed it, I apologize, brother. But I'll read it. I'll have to go into YouTube to see it, because sometimes it doesn't pop on.
Yeah, it won't let me
the
scroll up
chat
either, so I can't see it.
That's fine. Yeah, don't sweat it. Infinite. Let's get Daniel. You want to add anything else to your take?
No, I'll save it for when I'm throwing violence at PlayStation.
All right. Well, I mean, again, this is Sony's first show in 2 years. I would imagine that they have to show something.
Exactly.
Because we have no idea what's happening with them, and I mean that's one of the good things about Sony. They do keep their stuff really close to the vest. But Infinite Umbra, do we see this show reveal 4 RPGs, not counting Hellblade? Obviously it's Starfield, Avowed. InXile's new 2 games. Do we see that?
I think we do. And you're welcome, Raiden Blade. I think that we do. I don't even count Starfield as his own kind of separate thing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just go with InXile. I think they'll announce it at the very least. And I am the opposite, by the way. I don't mind them showing CGI. I don't even mind it a second time. I know some will be like, just show it the first time only. I don't think I need to have that hard stance. What I will say, what Microsoft needs to better do is, and I think Paris actually hit on this really well, where he pointed out, and I'm pretty sure we can all agree. Once you show that game, if you show a CGI, touch up on that game, here and there to let us know what the progress is looking like.
Yeah, we still don't hear about it.
Yeah, that's it. You don't have to showcase it again. You can say, hey, we're here. You can give us updates, kind of let us know. Yeah, don't worry. We're cooking back here, basically, right? And I think that's where they kind of go wrong at. They just go radio silence, because as of, I believe, next month, it would have been 3 years and some months since we actually heard about Fable, since we heard about State of Decay 3, since we've heard of Everwild, and the list goes on and on. There should not have been a case where we had 3 years of hearing nothing. That's the problem. So since they showed it so early, that caused that issue, but they can touch up on it. If they would have dropped a slight character art from Fable, all of our socks would have peeled off of our bodies and flew off into the atmosphere. You see what I mean? So it's so many ways they can go about kind of highlighting what they have in the works. And I think that's what they need to get better at. And I think Sony kind of excels in that in some ways. Sometimes they falter too, to be fair. I mean, they showed that Last of Us Factions, they showed like a screenshot last year at the Summer Games Fest. I know people were like, what is this nonsense? So they falter here and there too, to be fair. But I just think Microsoft, they can better showcase their games and say, hey, look, we'll give you a little update here and there. It doesn't have to be months later. It could be 7 months later and you show us a little something. We're here in the development, you know what I mean? Things of that nature, kind of just to let us know what's going on, I think, and that would really elevate things, I think, for us as viewers. As far as this showcase, and there's the police, they're here for me now. Danny, your slander of Zelda.
There it is.
Listen, I didn't slander.
They're like 400 miles away from me. I don't see nothing.
Nintendo called, and he accidentally called on me.
Wow.
I knew what it was. He heard you talking, and he's like, you know what? Somebody.
He's like, you know what? You're part of that other show. So
guilt by association.
I'm gonna fix you.
I got a fix for you. Yeah. Let's see you. No, let me stop. I was about to say some other stuff. So let me stop myself. So this is a family show. I had to remind myself. Yeah. No, so I think the showcase personally, and I said this before when we were reading Chris's super chat, I think the show is going to be great. And I think even with Sony, absolutely, with Sony going first, I am certain theirs is going to be great. They don't do that. They don't typically go first. We all know it. So they got some stuff in store. Now we've had Metal Gear Solid and possibly Castlevania spoiled for us. So we know to expect them, but I still expect to be, mind blown to actually see how it looks, if it looks really, really good or whatever, right? But they have more in store. Spider-Man is going to be there. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I saw a thing pop up where people were kind of like pointing out that it didn't have co-op. I'm like, but we knew that already.
It doesn't have co-op. That was confirmed by Insomniac yesterday. But
that was confirmed way back though.
Yeah. It's a single player, story driven Spider-Man game, which is going to allow you to take on Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Mm-hmm. I think that is genius. Who that needs co-op in a Spider-Man game?
I hear you, but I will say it's kind of a missed opportunity where something.
All right. I mean, I can see
they can add that multiplayer component in there. I think it would have elevated it that much more if you could actually have both Spider-Man on a set, like not on the set, but on the screen where, untethered doing their thing, swinging around.
Like you can go into someone's world and see Peter Parker getting his rear handed to him by the Rhino, and you can jump in and be like, like kind of a la Destiny when they had the world events.
Absolutely.
Where people would come into the game, you'd beat down the big crab thing, and then you'd bounce out.
Exactly. I think that would have been dope. And Dreamcast guy did hype up co-op, and he got a little egg on his face. But I think
Dreamcast guy is a bit of a D-bag. bag to begin with, so I don't feel bad for him.
Is.
You know what I always wonder though? Like, why does he make all those faces? Is that a thing you have to do to get like views?
Yeah. The reason why
I
can tell you I don't really know the guy. I invited him on my show. This is when I first started, and he made this big to do about he's being on my show. And like 15 minutes before, he's like, "Guys, you know, your chat's being mean to me, so I'm out." And he cancanceled on me at the last minute.
Did he really do that?
Sometimes our chat is mean to us. Like,
yeah,
I know. I get yelled at all the time.
Ever since then, when I see him, when he gets egg on his face, I don't say I laugh. I'm saying that
sensitive man. Listen, I'm sure he gets much more flack than I did, but I went on Weapon Wheel, which is a super hooved brother.
I've been on a Weapon Wheel as well, and I actually was told by a good friend, Luca, was like, "Boom, you're so nice."
Yeah, BG is a good dude.
I don't know if you should go on, and I'm like, listen.
Now the chat was getting at me a little bit, but they like, "Oh, look at this."
You know what? The chat actually liked me. They did not attack me. Surprisingly enough, like the reputation of Mr. BoomStick XL being a gentleman gamer. Won the day, if you will. So I was on Weapon Wheel many years ago, and I had a good time when I was there.
I was on there twice, and I will say, even though a few of them did that, after they heard me and noticed that I was like rational, they became more rational and less, hooved.
They probably hated you for that.
They probably did.
With your
this X-bot, how dare he try to sound normal?
Dare you bring rationality into a conversation,
right?
I wanted to be mad.
Exactly.
Right. But yeah, I would say, as far as this showcase though, I have my expectations through the roof. I know some people like I saw a chat a minute ago.
I did too.
They were like, "Oh, I'm going to wait
the expectations."
Yeah, I'm not tempering.
I ripped off the Band-Aid and I'm streaking down
Don't temper your expectations unless they tell you to.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Unless Aaron says it on Twitter, do your thing. It's okay.
Yeah. If he says that, I'll probably get sad.
If he doesn't,
like, really,
I would be too.
Yeah, I'm like, really, Aaron. No, at this point, I think. And I'm just being real here. Microsoft can't temper anything. They have to show us what's going on. I don't care if it's years out.
They need to unleash the dragon, if you will.
They do. It can't be any of that soft shoeing.
Like Project Shaolin, the Wu-Tang?
Absolutely. Show us what's going on.
Dude, let me tell you something. I don't know what that game is going to be, but the fact that we're in 2023 and there is a Wu-Tang Clan game potentially in development, yes, freaking please. Because that's the weirdness that Xbox kind of got away from. And I'd love to see the return. That would be such a stellar release. Now, granted, again, it has to be good, but I don't think the Wu-Tang Clan would attach their name to a shit product. So
I'm just surprised that they have a game coming out for them. I hope that it's really dope.
Well, I hope it's a side scroll and beat 'em up. That's what I hope it is.
I would be fine with that.
Fun.
Make it a 3D action,
3D,
like,
3D, Final Fight-esque 3D game where up to like 4 or 5 players with your friend, you get in there and everyone is their favorite artist, and maybe I'm thinking outside the box here. Maybe you get some guest characters that you can get in there.
I mean, they don't even have to do that. Boom! It's like 30 members inside the Wu-Tang
It is
clan.
a big posse for sure. There's no doubt about it. But
yeah, and they're like known in New York. Like, you don't mess with the Wu-Tang. But
no.
So I mean, look, Trey Bone just said it. But yeah, my thing is, as far as that goes, that would be dope if they showed it. I don't expect that. But as far as like you asked about the RPGs, I fully expect to see InXile showcase what they're working on. If they don't,
make an announcement of what they're working on.
Show us a CGI announcement of that. I think that I believe that Obsidian did one of the best CGI announcements, obviously, with Outer Worlds too.
That trailer was so fun, man.
Spectacular.
I don't think we get an update on that. Just for
I don't think so either.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I love
they got to push
idea.
Avowed. They got to push Avowed. Avowed has been in development for a while. It was shown in game.
I'm with you on that. It's more. I mean, Avowed is going to be showcased. I don't think there's any doubt. That's coming 100%. Out next year, more than likely. 100%. So, you know what I will say? I think is that still a topic, Boom, that we're going to for Avowed?
I mean, we can make mention of it. I mean, there were. Let me bring it up first of all. Let me. I can
wait on it because I do have.
No. We're gonna go into the Sony show. So by all means, run crazy with it. I just want to say a big thank you to George Stone of Twitter. It's at @G_Stone7. This is the gentleman who I've never met before. he DM'd me at the beginning of the week and said, "Hey, Boom, listen, I know I was listening to the show. I know you didn't get the invite by Microsoft for the watch party in LA. I have my +1. I'm not going with anybody. If you'd like to go, I'm opening it up to you." That's generosity unlike anything I've ever seen before. I did have that happen to me with Gotham Guy, who's a friend of the program. I got a chance to meet him. His +1 wound up blowing out his shoulder, working out in the gym. And I was in LA already. And he's like, "Hey, Boom, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't get in then." I'm like, "I'd love to go." And I met Aaron. I met everyone over there. It was amazing. So the generosity cannot be thanked. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be in LA. And Mrs. Boom and I are now saving for a home. So even I'm cutting back purchases because we want to get out of an apartment. And so yeah, I'm not going to be in LA. But a big shout out to him. But please continue on, bro.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at some of the chats, and I mean, imagine hearing some of the Wu-Tang as far as like maybe instrumentals, even as far as the background.
What song would you want to intro? Like Black
Screen? I have a
what
lot of theories on that
for Wu-Tang.
For Wu-Tang, yeah.
Probably what is it? Shadow boxing, I think. I would say.
I want it to be Cream, and the first text that pops up is Xbox exclusive.
Hey, I wouldn't be against that. Actually, that would be pretty dope.
That'd be really funny.
Actually, that would be pretty dope. I would listen. Triumph.
I like kind of Protect Your Neck. Me personally.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
There's a lot.
I'm just saying,
Protect Your Neck would be good too. Actually, now that you think, bring the ruckus.
If it's a fighting game,
yeah.
No, come on, that's perfect.
I'll be honest. Cream would sound so smooth to see that playing during. I will admit that would be dope to have. And hearing ODB.
I'm a big ODB fan.
Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine it, which would be dope.
Man, you must protect your neck. First thing first, man.
Would it be outrageous? Would it be unparalleled to have at least some of Wu-Tang Clan come on stage and do the game? Like, hey guys, such and such from Wu-Tang
from the slums of Shaolin.
Yeah, we've been working close with Microsoft. We want to show you our game. Boom, they show it. I'm getting goosebumps just freaking thinking about it. Are you kidding me?
That would be dope. And I could hear something like if they did instrumentals, it would be perfect. I mean, imagine Gravel Pit. You just hear it because it has that old school, I think Enter the Dragon beat. So it's go doom 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 doom. Check out my Gravel Pit.
Can I ask a question? Why aren't they hiring us for freaking marketing?
They should. Yes, hire us.
I'm retired. Hire me. Come on, what is going on here?
Or because even the Wu-Tang, they have their own separate side projects. Imagine something like with Golden Arms. This is a Golden Arms, something like that. Imagine that playing instrumental in the back.
It'd be dope.
They got so many ways they can go with that, but I don't expect that to be there, but I would love for it to be there and for them to use the music like we all said, one way or another, show it. But going back though, as far as those games, Avowed is definitely going to be showcased. What I would say, I hope that they do, because it's one of those games that's using Unreal Engine 5.
Yep. My favorite.
I hope they showcase that game so well, man. And I think this is a way to kind of turn over that mindset, because a lot of times we get these games, the ones that we expect to look really good as far as showcases are Forza, maybe Gears. I would love to see other games step into that realm to say, look at this. This is a looker. PlayStation can point that out with Horizon. They can probably point to it with remastered of Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I mean? So I would love to see Xbox step up. Now, you got these AAA games.
Well, we have
make them look pretty, show them off. That they need to look stunning to me. You know what I mean?
Would you not be happy with an announcement? And I know I would. I know that Crispy Bomb would, and I think it's going to be there. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'll come out and I'll say it. But could you imagine a Gears collection, the Marcus Phoenix collection we've rumored for years to be working on, and we get Gears 1, 2, and 3 in Unreal Engine 5?
That would be dope.
I think that would be dope. But again, Phil Spencer did say collections with an S.
He did. My thing is again, I would like it. It's just not something like for instance, I'm not clamoring for that. Exactly.
Yeah,
if I had to point to anything first, it would be Fable. Do Fable 1 and 2 over.
Yep.
Do those over and remake those in Unreal Engine. you got me hooked. Like,
hell, I would just take
I
one,
think that's what they need
be
to do
honest.
personally, because Fable is probably not landing until 2025, right? 26. Have those remade and remade, or I won't say remaster. Let's say remade in Unreal Engine, or remaster. Heck, if they could remaster it in Unreal, I'll take that too.
It would be a good idea. I like what you're putting down, because let's say hypothetically, folks, that Fable is first quarter 25, right? It's not hitting next year, and that's fine. That's fine. Let Playground do what Playground does. Horizon, the original Horizon, took almost 6.5 years before it was released. So let them do their thing.
Yeah.
In the interim, I think it's safe to suggest here that we're excited for Fable because we're Xbox fans. But I think there is something to be said, even though it's going to be different. It's going to be Fable. It's going to be a rebooted version of Fable. I think it would behoove, if you will, Microsoft or Xbox Game Studios to have the trilogy remastered in Unreal Engine 5, where it can introduce an entire new audience to the Fable universe. Even though it's not going to correlate from 1, 2, and 3 to the new Fable, it still would get you in the mindset or excited for it. And if it's not releasing till first quarter 25, maybe this is one of the collections they've been working on in secret.
It's possible. You know, he did say collections. I just feel like the Gears thing is something that's gonna get exciting for a minute. But I think having a Fable or a Fallout,
it would be so dope, dude.
That would be a bigger moment, I think, personally. And it's just because Gears, I think, is still great looking now, and they already had the Gears master of the first one already too. So to me, it's kind of like, do we really need that? Versus you doing Fable that you've left to the wayside. I think Fable would be a stronger contender for that personally, and Fallout if they did that again, you know. And but yeah, as far as those go, I expect to see InXile do their thing. I expect Compulsion. I expect them to show their game. I would say, obviously, we'll probably see Contraband, more than likely, because again, that should have happened. I think last year they supposedly, right? So they polished it. We'll probably see gameplay of that. They said some secret announcements. I'm hoping is some crazy good stuff. We talk about the zeitgeist, and I'm hoping that Microsoft has kind of embraced that to a degree, and we see something crazy announced, some big AAA, you know, big well-known IP they've grabbed. I would love for that to happen.
Maybe ZeniMax announces the Mandalorian game.
If they did that would be
freaking monster.
By the way, if they did, would you all, because ZeniMax did, now they work with the online. So if it was an MMO, would that taint your excitement?
No, because I'm sure that it would make your bounty hunter travel the universe of Star Wars and, you know, fight up against or with other bounty hunters. How do you lose? How do you lose a Star Wars MMO? That's that. I think.
What if they went further? What if they went further and made it?
Though.
The only problem with the Star
ESO
Wars
didn't
MMO,
really do it for me. So and I'm a huge, like, I absolutely, Skyrim's in my top 5 of all time. But ESO didn't move the needle for me. So
ESO unfortunately at its inception was very MMO based. Now you can literally play the game as you would Oblivion or Skyrim and have just as much fun.
I haven't touched it in years.
What if they went a step further, guys, and made it where if it's an MMO and you're a bounty hunter, let's say whatever you are, like, I guess they won't have you as Mando. Let's say they have you as some, you know, your own created.
If it's an MMO, you can't be Mando.
Right. So let's say they do that, but you know, Mando would be in the game, but obviously he would be an NPC, right? So
be NPC for sure.
But let's say if they did that, and if you amass a great enough bounty that you can have the PvP situation where the other players will try to come after you to try to capture you as a bounty. What if they have or vice versa? What if they did something like that?
I like it. I mean, listen, variety.
I'd be afraid it's like Sea of Thieves, and I just get pissed off that everyone keeps killing me.
You've heard my Sea of Thieves story, and I don't play it because I was robbed.
Right.
Shiver me timbers.
I spent 2 hours getting like 4 chests all by myself, and I was proud. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and cash these in. This game is beautiful. It's great. It's rare. I got back to I docked my little dinghy boat thingamajig. I threw the chests on there. I thought I was doing something really good. I walked up with my chest. I was smiling, and then 4 dudes jumped out of nowhere, beat me down, and stole all my loot. And I was like, this game. You know what?
Hey, like, welcome to Sea of Thieves, homie.
If you ever want to get back into Sea of Thieves, I'm a pirate legend, and I'll help you out. Don't you worry.
I might have to take you up on that offer. So yeah, that's my Sea of Thieves traumatization, if you will.
What made it worse, Boom, was they walked off singing like sea shanties and stuff on TV. They're like, yo, that's messed up.
They called him a hoe?
Yeah, they probably did call me a hoe. They called me a lot of names. I was calling them a lot of names too, but I can't repeat what I was calling them.
I wish that you had that recorded, because I would laugh and try to shed tears seeing you get jumped by 3 pirates.
It was 4, actually. It was 4. It was 4,
and they were huge. It was
they were the size of
Godzilla. It was like 8 of them, and they were like 6'8". I don't know how they were that big, all of them, but yeah. No, that's funny, man. I played Sea of Thieves way back when it was more bare bones, so it's funny for me. But
yeah,
I got caught by the Kraken, and I was like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, so, listen. If you're a Sea of Thieves fan, I know that there's thousands and millions of people that play this game. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not for me, because, like I said, I do 5 shows a week. I have barely enough time to play Zelda, let alone an MMO. But I do want to. We got half an hour to go, guys, and I do want to talk about the big elephant in the room. And that's Sony's show that's coming tomorrow. There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of talk. I know some things that aren't going to be there. But let me just catch up on the super chats. First of all, Raiden Blade, brother, thank you. I did find your super chat. I had to go to YouTube to get it. He dropped a £2 super chat and says 22.6 million players for ESO, 235,000 daily on PC. Well, that is bonkers. And add 30 million to Game Pass. Yeah, I think Game Pass is closer to 35 million. They just haven't announced it yet. And I think Starfield, Starfield's you're going to have 10 million plays in the first week. I'm just telling you, it's at minimum 10 million, maybe more than that, because you're going to see the same kind of hype level. Because remember what happened with Forza Horizon 5, that broke records unlike any racer ever. And that would, and they continue to do that. So I think Starfield is going to hit like that. We have Nintendo Otaku drops not 1, but 2 $5 super chat and says Hellblade 2 combat gameplay, Avowed gameplay, Fable teaser, Compulsion InXile ID, pick 1 reveal, and 1 shadow drop has to be there or it's a flop. I mean, I think you're going to get all of that in a bag of chips, so I don't think it's going to be a flop, but I think they definitely got to show us what they're working on, especially some of the games that they gave us in 2020. There's no doubt. He goes on to say,
it can't be any soft shoeing. They just have to put it all out there.
Put it out there, yeah. Drop it on the desk. That's what they got to do. Xbox's show will be better than PlayStation's on a first-party front and won't even be close. PlayStation will have the best remake and money-hatting show, though. So again, you're probably right about that. Let's get into, folks, the Sony show. Now, there's a couple things that we do know about it. Metal Gear Solid going to be there. Originally pitched as an exclusive. The cat's out of the bag. So I think I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again. I think the wind has been the wind and the sail for this announcement has been taken out. So it's going to be there. It's going to probably look amazing, but it's coming to all platforms. And I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan. I would have went with 1 instead of 3. That's just me, but 3 is a prequel, so I guess we could debate on that. I would imagine we're going to get a look at Silent Hill 2. That's a year exclusive from what we understand. And Castlevania, we don't really know. No one's really talking about it, even if it exists. If you were expecting Knights of the Old Republic, according to Daniel, Daniel said that, what was it, Grub that said it's canceled?
Yeah, Grub, apparently. I saw it on Twitter, so it could be, it could be true or false.
This is going back a year, too. This isn't new by any means.
So Knights of the Old Republic, which I gave Microsoft, specifically as Phil Spencer, I said it. I gave him crap for it. I'm like, that's a big miss in my opinion. Turns out that, the head of Microsoft Gaming knows a lot more than a knucklehead podcaster, so they passed on it because it was Aspire, who I have no confidence as a developer, but they could have surprised us. Turns out, well, they fired everybody in the game, according to Jason Schreier, who reported yesterday, is the game is it's been indefinitely stopped. So that's not going to be there.
Yeah.
Grubb
also said that they wouldn't have not Dragon Age. What was that game?
Ghost of Tsushima 2 is not going to be there.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Really disappointing.
That is
and I am disappointed
by that
at all. I don't understand that at all.
Bend Studio might get their stuff. We may see a new game from Bend. I don't know what they're working on, but they may have something. We know that they're going to have some third-party stuff there. Final Fantasy is going to be there. PlayStation VR 2.0 is going to be there. And Spider-Man is going to be there. Potentially Wolverine. We might get something from Wolverine. I don't know. But we definitely are getting at least a 10-minute block of Spider-Man 2. That releases in September. It's going to be big for the platform. A show that's only about an hour and 5 minutes, 65 minutes, 70 minutes at max. There's a lot already taken out of the board. So I don't know. But I'm going to start with Retri on this. Retri, it's Sony's first show in 2 years. I am expecting high marks. Now, I could be 1,000% wrong. Do I think it's going to be better than Xbox? And I'm going to straight up say, no, it is not.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. We know so many games that Microsoft are going to show that we know are going to be bangers, quote unquote.
And we know are coming sooner than probably
sooner than later. Sony, we have no idea. Now, Barlog, who obviously worked on God of War 2018, he has supposedly a space game in development. Now, what that space game looks like, I don't know, but it's Cory Barlog, so I'm all in because I love Cory and I love the work that his team does, so I'm in. Where do you kind of feel this is the because again, remember, we still have the Game Awards. Sony is obviously in bed with why am I forgetting his name? Jesus Christmas.
Jeff Keighley.
Thank you, sir. Jeff Keighley. We know that they're going to save something special for Keighley's Summer Game Fest, right? We know that they're going to have probably an announcement. It's safe to say that Factions, which a lot of people are waiting for, a lot of people are looking forward to, should get some screen time at this show tomorrow. Where are you kind of feeling on this, brother?
I mean, I think it's going to be a good show. A little disappointed in Ghost. I thought maybe there would be at least a teaser for something from Sucker Punch.
No, they've already confirmed that's not going to be there at all in any form, which is disappointing. Yeah,
that is definitely disappointing. Was there any confirmation on Twisted Metal?
I have not heard anything about it, dude. Okay. I know that they're working on it. I know the game. I know they're working on a show, which looks is going to be. I think it's going to be dope. Anthony Mackie is going to be a part of that project, so I'm very excited for that.
I mean, I'm excited for Twisted Metal. Obviously, there's a lot of third-party stuff like Pragmata from Capcom, so I'm excited about that. Silent Hill 2, I am excited about Silent Hill 2 as an IP, not so much that it's Bluebird Team, but we'll see. Hopefully
it's the pinnacle in the series. I hope they don't mess that up, dude.
Yeah. I am excited if it's true, and I don't know if this got confirmed or not because I haven't heard anything. If Astro's Conquest, like the full-blown game for Astro, actually happens, that would be really cool. I really liked Astro.
I feel like Astro will get his own full game, but the tagline Conquest doesn't really feel right for an Astrobot game to me.
Yeah, you know I don't know. I don't know about the taglines. I'm sure most of these are completely made up in BS, but I mean, they already said they were going to do a full-blown Astros. Like, that's not a secret, so I know it's coming. I just don't know when or if this is real. Outside of that, I don't know. Obviously, Spider-Man 2. I'm super looking forward to that. I love Miles Morales. It was such a good game, even though people call it a glorified DLC. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I think this showcase can be pretty good. Of course, there was the whole gas games. I don't care about VR, and then there's the whole gas games. Like, how many gas games are we going to see?
Well, we know they canceled 3 of them. There was 3 in active development. One from Deviation Games, which had a budget of $50 million, got canceled. There were 2 other ones that were canceled as well. One was already, it was like a vampire game that was launched last year, and it was a PlayStation exclusive that got canned. So I don't know. I think if they're gonna show off any gas games, Retri, I think it's got to be Factions.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, Jesus, I would think so at this day and age. At this time, we've been talking about Factions 2 forever. So I don't know. I would expect Factions to be there as a given. Of course, there was a rumor about Killzone, and that's what made me think maybe that the list was BS. But I mean, of course, the list has Ghost on it too, so now we know that's not happening. But I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be some surprises. I wonder, if, like we've talked about, them pushing out further into Marvel and getting possibly more Marvel IP under them, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, there's a third one supposedly. Take it with a grain of salt.
People are
Insomniac is working on a third IP.
I don't know. I mean, Deadpool would sounds like it could happen. I don't know, but I'm excited for the show. I think it'll be good. They haven't had a show forever, so I expect there to be some surprises, because there should be surprises, because I don't know what the hell's going on with Sony, and apparently neither does anyone else really. So I'm excited to see, but I mean, if we're comparing this show to Xbox, it's not even close in my opinion. For me, for my excitement, the games that Xbox is working on and the studios that are working on those games I'm way more excited.
100% agree. I said the same.
Way more excited.
Yep.
Because Sony's just going to it's going to be filled with a lot of third party money hatting, which is fine.
Yes.
Which is fine. If KOTOR hadn't got canceled, that would have been probably my top game. So, but hey, crap happens. So it is what it is. I'll definitely be watching, and hopefully it'll be a great show, and I think it will. And the Xbox One will be better. So there's that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the Xbox One is going to be better, without a doubt. I mean, again, there's no shade for Sony. I think Sony is going to deliver. The question is how much of what they're going to show is going to appeal for everyone. The PlayStation VR 2.0, I can care less.
Care about it.
I don't care about it. They lost me when none of my games I bought for PSVR 1 that I spent a lot of money on were backwards compatible, so I'm not buying that. First of all, it's too expensive, and whatever. So I'm excited for Spider-Man.
I'm sure they'll probably have like Half-Life Alyx and stuff for it, but it's like
that was rumored a while back, and then nothing ever transpired.
Maybe. What wouldn't surprise me if they're trying to make money off of that title again. I mean, it's kind of looked at as the best.
I mean, that should definitely come to PSVR. Like, that's kind of a must-have. But at the same time, I feel like at this point, it's kind of too late to really save.
Yeah, it's kind of
not that it's, but
No, it's not going to save. I don't think it's going to save it. But I think it just seems obvious, right? Like, it just seems like an obvious thing that
it seems like a no-brainer kind of a situation.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
Good.
We'll see. Hopefully, Silent Hill 2. I hope Blooper Team doesn't f that up.
It's just a remake. All they have to do is color in the lines, and they should be okay.
That's so easy, right?
I'm like you when it comes to them, though, Retri. I don't really have a trust for them like that.
I don't either.
I don't think they'll be able to elevate it like they've done with like Resident Evil or whatever. I'm just hoping that they can make the old game new again. And then
okay. I would be okay with that. Like, if it's just Silent Hill 2 like it was back in the day, I would absolutely be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd sign off on that. I definitely sign off on that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Before, you know what? If it's okay, Daniel, I want to say if you have chose violence.
I'm always about that violence
for the end. So we're gonna go to Umbra, but I have to thank two people. Sir X-Man drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "I want the 5-year rumor of MechAssault, please."
Yes,
I would take a MechAssault just remake of the original two.
I need to,
dude. That
God, I love that game.
That would be one game I could see well done in a VR set.
I would love that.
Yeah, I mean. I would take
VR, but
I would take the original OG Xbox MechAssault 1 and 2, put them in a package, remake them in Unreal Engine, whatever, and and put it out there. I think Phil Spencer talked about it. Unfortunately, the IP is like
like license
hell. So,
but, man, playing online against other people was so much fun.
Yeah, my God, it was so much fun. Absolutely. Shout out to a good brother, Al Hogan, in the chat. Not only is he here, Al, what's going on, brother? Welcome back. He drops very generous $20 super chat, says, "Boom, my brother in blue. Sorry for the late. Sorry, so late with the support." Stop it, brother. He said, "I'll be stepping it up from now on. Love you, brother, and I love you too. And watch your six, my friend, while you're out there. I'm just happy that you're still around and that you are signing out at the end of tour, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And hopefully you'll be retired like me and you can do podcasting." But Umbra, what are your expectations for Sony show? Because we know that your expectations from Microsoft are through the roof, and nothing's going to dash that. Mine too. Mine have broken through the roof. I don't care if I take the L for being overhyped, then I'll just take the L. But I'm hyped for the Xbox show. I'm kind of excited, but I'm tempering the Sony show because of some of the things I expected to be there, like Ghosts 2, like the Star Wars update to what they were doing over at Aspire. Like Metal Gear Solid was exciting when I thought it might. It was just exciting and disappointing when I thought that these games might have been money had. It turns out that has been kiboshed. So I kind of feel, we Spider-Man is going to be amazing. No pun intended. Wolverine is probably going to be dope.
Spider-Man is going to be spectacular, even.
What are your expectations for Sony's show happening tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
I'm with you all. I think Spider-Man is a no-brainer. I think that's going to be like 10 minutes, like you said, that 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
I would like to see how they're going to showcase you switching between the two. If that happens, that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of dope too. Yeah.
Yeah. If they have like a GTA 5 mechanic or something like that, that would be pretty dope. If they would have had co-op, I think that would have been a big mic drop moment, though. I think they missed out on that just because of that. And credit and love to Xbox for making sure that they give us the full suite when you come to some of these games. Gears, Forza, Halo. I know it's the trifecta, but they do give you all of that, in the package. So Sony does need to improve on that. I think we'll probably see some of the games they have as far as the games as a service. We'll probably see one or two shown. Maybe they might at least announce it and show what it like, the concept of it. Maybe CGI. It would be cool if they grabbed like one of their older games like SOCOM. I saw some people talking about that. Well, that would be cool. I actually did not care for SOCOM back in the day. I thought the controls were horrible. But it would be nice to have that actually remake that and make that more prominent now, especially since we all have been, absent Splinter Cell. As far as Silent Hill, I'm with Red Tree on that. I just don't. It's like, I don't trust Bloober enough. And I don't know. I don't have the hype for Silent Hill. I've always liked Resident Evil more. But Metal Gear, I do want to see. I'm expecting that to look great. Castlevania, if that exists, I'm sure that's going to look good. The thing is, though, they took the wind out of the sails of Metal Gear Solid. It's the least kept secret that we've ever heard from Sony. Sony usually doesn't have leaks like this.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because it's third party that we would get any information at all. So that kind of took the wind out of his sails a bit. So that's not, when I see it, it's not like, oh, Metal Gear, that is gone now. So that's cool that we'll see that. And somebody said Splinter Cell better than SOCOM. Absolutely. I actually think Splinter Cell is better than Metal Gear too, obviously, overall. Personally, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but Chaos Theory has been better overall than many of the Metal Gears. But much love to Kojima. My thing, though, I think also I think that Cory Barlog's game that he's been talking about, I think they'll announce that. I don't know if they'll showcase it or whatever, but I think they'll at least announce it. So I'm looking to see that actually happen. Factions, I think that's kind of a no-brainer too. I think at this point they have to, and I still have a sneaking suspicion that it will actually launch this year. So in the fall.
What about a revival of Siphon Filter?
That'll be cool. Yeah, that and SOCOM both.
Sound too excited.
Yeah, for our Hooved brothers, I'm sure they would love it. For me, Siphon Filter and SOCOM never did it for me. That's the honest as I can be. They never did it for me.
I mean, if you're gonna make a games as a service, SOCOM is ripe for the picking, man.
Absolutely,
it makes sense for that. Yeah.
And by the way, I confused the two. Siphon Filter had the controls I didn't care for. SOCOM was the SWAT type game. I forgot. I confused the two. My bad. So Siphon Filter controls I did not like. So personally, Splinter Cell is just way better. But no, I think bringing those two back would be smart. And I think they probably have some of their remastering teams or something like that working on something. So I expect to see something like that. I also expect them to have money headed some third-party Japanese games that will probably, you know, shun the you know, Xbox or something like that. So I expect to see something like that pop up, and you know, probably stuff that a lot of Xbox gamers don't care for, to be fair. But I think I'll end up caring. Like, I would love to have that over here.
We got breaking news. PTK Blam, good friend of the community, great friend of this program. Microids has a game stopping announcement. Microids, if you don't know who they are, they made the Inspector Gadget game for everyone except for Xbox. Well, breaking news, according to this, to their official Twitter account, Xbox gamers, we heard you loud and clear.
Yeah.
Aware of the strong demand for this title, we are working hard. We have worked hard and now can assure you that the Inspector Gadget Mad Time Party will be available on Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One in digital format ASAP.
Demand was crazy.
We did it again. We got this double ass Inspector Gadget game. We've done it.
We've done it, boys.
We made it.
Oh,
we made
my
it.
God.
We made it.
Cool.
Was anyone actually asking for this? I'm just
I'm probably going to play it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm going to buy
Surprisingly,
it. Is Penny
Xbox
there?
guys,
That's all that
Penny
matters.
is there. Yes, Penny is there,
Right.
and so is the bumbling chief with the pipe. I'm looking at screenshots right now.
I'll
man.
you next time, Gadget.
The cat.
But anyway,
you gotta have the cat.
You gotta rub the cat. You know, the thing is,
What?
and no pun intended.
Rub the cat.
Pause.
No pun intended. Wait a minute. With Dr.
Uh,
Claw, but you know,
Right.
I did see some Xbox guys like saying they wanted it over here, but again, that's because of the lack. Like, it's skipping us. Hey, you guys should bring it over. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Seeing a game, it's like I don't care about that. Yeah,
I had no clue it existed. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
I honestly did not even know that the game
yesterday.
existed. Honestly, I did not even know
freaking
that.
clue.
I didn't even know.
Look at these heathens in the chat. Hey, y'all, get your minds out the gutter.
Rub the cat.
But-
Hey yo.
Hey yo. But no, but as far as that goes, as far as Sony, I think that their showcase will be good. I still think, like Retri pointed out,
Wow.
I think Microsoft's will be better. And I'm not saying it because
Mm-hmm.
I'm more inclined to be a bot. I'm just saying it because I think they'll be better personally.
You know what? I just think that Microsoft is despite your feelings of Redfall, it's been a solid year. They had Hi-Fi Rush. We know that they have a lot of big games, AAA stuff coming first party. Game Pass has been off the chart, incredible. Like I said, I know, you can't keep putting Game Pass. Yes, I can. It's a service that Xbox offers that PlayStation doesn't offer.
That's facts.
And the fact that we have had games launch into that service that have been high polished, high caliber games from indies to AAAs. I know you want your first party stuff, and I'm right there with you, but you cannot argue that 2023 has been dominant for Xbox Game Pass. There's been hardly any lulls whatsoever. But listen, to each is everyone's own. You think of how I have high through the roof 10 out of 12 10 out of 10 out of 12 out of 10 expectations for the show. I'm sitting as about 8 out of 10 for my expectations for Sony. A lot of stuff I think I already know. I want to be surprised. Some of the surprises I don't think are going to be there, like Knights of the Old Republic, which would have been a big one, and like obviously now that the cat's out of the bag for Konami's content, it's going to be multi-plat. So that I'm sure Sony's pissed at that. They wanted everyone to think that these games were exclusive. Turns out that they're not. But let's get the violence, Mr. Violence himself, Daniel McGee.
Hello.
Before we get everyone out of here, and by the way, I think someone just put in the chat here. Says that Kotaku ran a story that says Xbox game. Oh yeah, it was Abdel 114. Says, yo, boom, check your DM. Kotaku writer says Xbox fanboys bullied Inspector Gadget devs to release it on Xbox.
That's Kotaku.
Kotaku just says, what a filthy mag rag. What I mean, the Inquirer is better than them. Don't read Kotaku. Jason Schreier came from there, so you know the place is shit. Sorry.
I don't necessarily disagree. So yeah, okay. So I have some possibly hot takes on this one. So I'm already expecting there to be some hatred thrown my way, and I'm prepared for it. It's okay. Feel free to clip this and share it with your friends and say, look how dumb this guy is. Well, I won't be mad about it at all. But in my opinion, I think this PlayStation Showcase has to be better than the Xbox One. I don't know necessarily that it will be, but I feel like it has to be. And I don't mean on the Twitter polls, because when we look at the Twitter polls, it's going to be the situation where Jeff Keighley's is going to have PlayStation winning and Tim Dogs is going to have Xbox winning. Sight unseen, I can tell you that, right? Like, it doesn't matter. However, something that people don't want to admit is that PlayStation lately has been having a first-party problem, right? And I know that sounds crazy, and I'm already probably going to get people yelling at me for that. But here's the truth of the matter, right? Last year, we got 3 games from them, all of which had been delayed from the previous year. And this year, we have 1 game, which we don't technically have a release date for. And apparently, people are starting to feel a little questionable about whether or not it's going to come out this year. Although, admittedly, basically every AAA game gets that sort of rumor thrown around about it at some point or another. So I wouldn't necessarily take that one to heart.
They were very close from having the same year we had last year. This close. You know what I mean?
So PlayStation has been having a real first-party problem. And now they very smartly covered that up with buying a lot of third-party exclusives. And like Xbox should definitely follow suit and should have probably done the same thing on the years that they were thin. But they didn't, and we've seen how that worked. But if you look at purely a first-party front, PlayStation has been having some trouble. And so this showcase needs to do a lot. And I think it probably will, but it needs to do a lot, right? We need to obviously get a release date for Spider-Man, right? I think that's obvious. I think probably everyone would have already expected that. We need a date for Spider-Man. It's past time. We should have already had it. And beyond that, it would be really good to get another date for another smaller, maybe first-party game coming out at some point this year. Because I'm sorry, 1 first-party game this year is not enough. Even if it's Spider-Man, and I'm going to play Spider-Man day 1, it's going to be great. Even if it's Spider-Man, that's just not enough for 12 months. I'm sorry. It's just not enough. We all said it for Xbox, and it was true then, and it's true now. The only difference is that PlayStation has, like I said, very smartly bought a lot of third-party exclusives to try and cover it up. And in some cases, that's really worked in their favor. And in some other forspoken cases, it has not. Mm-hmm. So, if we're looking at the first party, they need to correct this problem. And we also need dates for next year. We need at least 2 or 3 games from first party that are announced to be coming out next year, or we're going to be in this same boat again. It's not a good situation that they're in terms of getting their PlayStation first party games out in a timely manner and at the date that they originally said it would. And yes, I know that there's going to be a lot of people that be like, yeah, but Xbox has the same problem. Yeah, I'm not talking about Xbox. Yes, they do also have the same problem, but PlayStation has it too. Okay. And this is something that they need to correct. It's not doom and gloom. I'm not out here saying, oh, if this showcase is bad, then PlayStation is going in the trash. But the fact of the matter is, we haven't had a PlayStation showcase in 2 years. And they've set a precedent at this point that I cannot confidently say that we're going to get another showcase next year, right? So this show needs to be able to sort of fill in that gap. It needs to tell us what's happening this year and why we should still be excited for first party in 2023. Other than Spider-Man, there needs to be more. And we need to know what is happening next year and when we can expect those things, right? I know that I'm on an Xbox podcast and I do prefer my Xbox. I want reasons to turn my PlayStation on. And right now it's really just for Honkai. You know what I mean? And that's not like... that's not enough, right? Like, that's not a big enough reason to turn this thing on. And it's not good, right? So we need games for this year. We need games for next year. And we'll probably need to get a couple of games that are announced for further out so that we can have things to look at. Right now, and no PlayStation guy's probably going to admit it, at least on like the big media side, if you look at the last like year of PlayStation podcasts, a lot of the titles of them are talking about Xbox things because PlayStation hasn't been giving them things to talk about. It's not because they're fanboys. It's because they just don't have anything to talk about, right? So they have to talk about how does this thing that Xbox is doing affect PlayStation? How does this thing that Nintendo is doing affect PlayStation, right? And PlayStation needs to correct that. They need to talk more. They need to show us games. And yes, obviously people are going to be like, yes, but PlayStation games are better than Xbox games. And I don't even necessarily disagree with that. It's just we need to see what those games are. And it's past time.
Yeah, I will give you that for sure, that PlayStation gets a pass that Microsoft and Xbox absolutely will not get, as far as
and
having that one game for a year. To a degree. But yeah, Microsoft absolutely does not get that pass. You're right about that.
No.
And it's funny too, because I noticed that. I'm like, why are all these PlayStation centric shows all focused on Xbox? As much like Twitter. All the Hoove brothers are talking about Xbox. We're talking about Xbox.
Clicks.
Yeah, it's like, so no, what's Sony part about this? Why are you guys not talking about Sony?
Michelle Alexandria said all Sony needs to show is a title card for a game and people will go nuts. And she's
well, I mean, look what happened with the PlayStation 5 logo. They're like, oh my God, show the generation.
Right.
Oh, that was so dumb. Yeah, I remember that.
They had that, and they had what was it? Cerny, Mark Cerny was like, "Show me your ears," and everyone was like, "Yeah, all right, I'm very confident about this console.
Remember when Keeley was hyping up them blowing into the controller? Oh, look, man. I'm like, get out of here.
Get out of town, Pat.
Yeah, that's how wrong.
Yeah. So PlayStation, they don't. It's not that they have like ground to make up. Obviously, they're still in first place. Obviously, they're still killing it, but they have big expectations to meet. Right? They need to show us that they are going to continue to be as good as they have been in the past, and I have faith that they will. I mean, hopefully, some of these live service games will hit. I guarantee you, probably more than half of them won't, because none of these teams have done live service before. And just looking at the law of averages, more than the vast majority of live service games don't work out. And that's just how it's going to be. Like, there's not really a lot PlayStation can do to fix that problem. It's just how the market is. So that's not going to work out. And we're already kind of fighting uphill, because they also, on top of explaining all this stuff that we need to be excited for the proper console, they've also said that they're going to have VR stuff in there, and VR is in a rough place for them. Like, so they need to also sell us on VR headsets. So there needs to be at least one really big title for PSVR 2. And like I said earlier, Half-Life Alyx isn't going to do that, right? Half-Life Alyx is a probably really great game, and it's very popular among VR communities. The problem is it's already been everywhere else for ever, for like over a year. So bringing that over, that should have already happened, first of all, and second of all, it's not going to move the needle, because anyone who was really excited for it probably would have already played it somewhere else, right? So they need to have probably something from first party or from a exclusive lockdown deal that is a big, important, probably established IP game that's really going to sell it. Because the only thing that they have, to my knowledge right now, is that one where people climb up a mountain and write Xbox sucks in finger paint or whatever the hell that game is. And that's just not enough. It's just not enough. Yep. PlayStation has really high expectations to meet. And I think that they should probably meet it, but I don't know. The other part of it is I've been seeing some of these PlayStation podcasts talk about this showcase, and their predictions are through the roof. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, the high. Well, they haven't had a show in 2 years.
It's been forever.
People have set their expectations way up here, and realistically, that's just not going to happen. So what we're going to see is either a lot of people being really disappointed that it didn't meet those expectations that they kind of set for themselves, or they're going to move the goalpost and be like, "Yeah, I didn't get anything I wanted, but it's still
That's more likely. The second one's more likely.
Probably the second one. Let's be honest, probably the second one.
Yeah, it's the second one.
But this PlayStation showcase will be very good. Don't get it twisted. It will be very good. But it also kind of needs to be.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'll say this. I think both, is oddly enough, I think both need to actually be good.
Absolutely.
Yes. But, Xbox has to hit on a lot of levels. I think updates to games that we saw debuted in 2020, which are 3 years past, we're due. And we definitely need to see gameplay. I think we're going to get it. In fact, I even dare say that we get some release dates. I think we get Forza.
Yep.
And I think they surprise us with Hellblade for December or November.
I stick by that. I know somebody tried to come from, was it Red Trio, or somebody came from my kneecaps, I think. I think
it was us.
It was it was you all.
It was actually, I think it was me and Daniel. Were both
that's right. You both betrayed me.
For Hellblade? Yeah, Hellblade ain't coming out this year.
Yeah.
Betrayed you.
No, I think I've been listen. I've staunchly said
Dreamcast guy.
this.
I hurt your feelings. Leave me alone.
But no, I believe that. I believe Hellblade 2 is coming out in December too.
I hope you're right.
I think in the later half of the year. Yeah, if it's not December, just the second half of this year. I personally believe. To me, it just seems like it's ready, like it's there.
It definitely feels ready.
Yeah, because the last time we heard about it, they were in the last, like the third stage of production. The fourth is just polishing, and I think they have to be by that, if not on that by now. I would imagine. So there's that, since that was like a year and a half ago. So I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, hey, take your time, of course, but I still believe Hellblade 2 will be later this year. And I think that would be a good mic drop moment to say, hey, this is coming out this year. I'm not so sure about Forza, though. I'm still wavering a bit. I kind of feel like that might slip into 2024. But
really?
I slightly, just because it's just we haven't heard enough
about that over Hellblade personally, but
me too.
Yeah, I suppose maybe I'm overthinking it, but I mean, I know that typically is October and November for them, so maybe you're right. But
I mean, there is a world where we get 3 months in a row of AAA monsters, meaning that you get Starfield,
Forza,
and then you get it in November. You get Hellblade because the games are just ready. So I mean, if you if you close out the year and then you open up with Avowed for first quarter of 23, talk about changing narratives, right? Like that would be. Now, again, granted, all the games have to be good, and I would imagine that they're going to be. But if you put Starfield, Forza, and then you close out the year with Hellblade, and then you open up the 24 campaign with Avowed, wow, man,
beautiful. Now, Forza is launching. Is Florida? Excuse me, I said Florida.
Florida.
If Forza hits this year, Hellblade is not hitting this year. I can't see them stacking that many on top of each other from Starfield to Forza.
It's one of the reasons I think that's why I think Hellblade is next year.
What I will say is none of those titles can be the closer to the show. We need something big and new for the end of the show.
I agree.
I don't want
it's got to be new.
Yeah, I don't want Hellblade, Avowed, or Forza to close out the show. Yeah. I guess I guess Avowed would be the least bad of the three of those because we haven't seen any
gameplay.
True. I guess if they close with Avowed, I wouldn't be like
Fable,
mad, but I would.
Fable will be a good one.
Fable would be kind of dope.
Fable would be perfect for the ending.
I feel like though when they do that, it should be something brand new, right? I always kind of get that feeling like it should be something.
It should be something that we've never seen before, and it would. Yeah.
If it's the and one more thing, then it needs to be something new. If it's just what we're ending the show on, then it can be Fable.
True.
Although honestly, I think Fable's big enough that even now it could probably still be the and one more thing.
Yeah. I think if any of those, like you said, Avowed, Fable, if they show either of those, I think we're going to be satisfied as a one more thing kind of situation, closing, if you will.
Also, just one more complaint that I want to level at the PlayStation show. They should announce these things earlier. I was able to take the day off work for the Xbox show. I feel bad for smaller content creators on the PlayStation side because they're not going to be able to take the day off work. They're going to have to like pretend that they're sick or something, and that's that really sucks. Bigger content creators who that's their job, they'll have no problem. But smaller content creators are going to have to what do we have, like a week prior notice? You always need like 2 weeks at any job to get the day off. Yeah. Like, come on.
Yeah. Listen, real quick. I just want to read Trey Bones' member chat. So he said, I said reboot Lost Planet, name it Lost Planet Bounty Hunters, make it PvP hunt down players for bounty or turn against your allies cause they have a bigger bounty, LOL, and kill monsters. I mean, I'd love a remake of Lost Planet and slap a Star Wars skin on there. That would be kind of dope as well.
Lost Planet, that'd be nice to have.
Lost Planet was phenomenal. The first one was great. The next couple,
yeah. So somebody said Shadow Drop Fable.
God,
yeah.
No, absolutely not. That's too big to shadow drop.
Yeah.
No, you might get a shadow drop. You might get something available day and date, which would be kind of cool. But I don't think it's gonna be anything big like that. But
maybe
Silk Song closing the show. That's a good
Silk Song, maybe shadow drop.
Oh yeah, that would be that. A lot of people would dig that. That would be a big. I would love it. A lot of people love the original.
Didn't Silk Song just get delayed into next year? I thought that was like made official by Team Cherry.
It got delayed, but I don't know until when.
I think it's still this year. I'm pretty sure it's
I think so.
Yeah,
there were a lot of delays.
It
like
did get
the last
delayed
couple
though.
weeks.
Yeah, that game. So I mean, listen, the first one was amazing. Let the second one just simmer and cook in the oven. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Xbox Factor Podcast today. Of course, for Daniel McGee, Retry at GamerPass_daily and Infinite Umber. I'm Mr. BoomStick XL. I want to thank you so much for taking 2+ hours of your day to hang out with us. A big shout out to all of the super chats that came in. I cannot thank you enough for the generosity. And of course, let's get to the outros. We'll start first with Daniel McGee. Sell your brand, brother. Talk about the fix. Talk about where people can check out your YouTube channel, where you have some of the best long and short content available, especially because you are rewriting the DCEU, and hopefully you'll get a knock at the door from James Gunn.
Look, if James Gunn wants to offer me a job, I will literally carry coffee for that man. I do not care. I don't need to write. I don't need to do nothing. I'll be a fluffer. I'm not ashamed.
Wait a minute. Pause.
He said,
hold on. How y'all pause me on the rub the cat? Not that.
Because we believe him.
I'll do it. Have you seen the people they cast for these things? Are you kidding me? Anyway, it don't matter. You can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McGee or on my personal YouTube channel at just Daniel McGee. If you thought I was too hard on PlayStation, then my latest video was me being pretty hard on Xbox, so you might enjoy that. It's how they can fix Halo, which has gotten less hateful responses than I thought it was going to. So I don't know. I guess I did something right. Yeah. And yes, like Boom said, I'm currently rewriting the DCEU. I'm just about ready to publish the first movie of that series, which is going to be Batman Black Mask. I'm really excited about it. I ran it past some friends of mine, and they seemed to really like it. So now I'm just implementing their changes, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm really excited about it.
You're rewriting that when you say
a little bit, yeah. Okay. It's you never publish the first draft.
Yeah.
Well, listen, looking forward to it. Again, enjoy the thoughts and theories, especially in the DCEU. You're a fan, so seeing it rewritten from a fan's perspective is exciting. And of course, he's part of the Fixed Infinite Umber. Sell your brand, brother. Talk about the Thursday show, where you guys cover not only pop culture, but of course, specifically video games as well. You guys crossed over 1,000 subscribers last week, and now we're talking, let's move to 2K, 3K, maybe even 5K. Sell it, brother. Sell the brand. Tell everyone where they can check that out. You and Daniel each and every week live. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah. Hey, great show, guys. It was funny talking with you guys, just laughing it up. And see, this type of talk here was just like something you have an Xbox party, something like that, right? So I love that type of discussion, which just kind of flow. And
on the Fix every Thursday night.
Or on the Fix Thursdays at 8:00 Eastern. Yeah. It's the Fix, yeah. We some Xbox players. You all got to tune in because it's so funny because, by the way, I want to give a shout out specifically to Lord Star Killer, I believe is his name. Lord Star Killer, I've seen him plenty of times in other chats. He went through all of our videos, Danny, and was like watching everything, commenting on the minutia of what we talked about. I was amazed. Like he kept making like responses like, oh yeah, well, such and such. I'm like, this dude is actually watching this, like watching past episodes. Yeah, I was so astonished. Yeah, we got a lot of praise from other people and things like this. So I just want to thank everybody who has come by and supported us. And like Boom pointed out, the Fix on Thursdays at 8:00 Eastern. Definitely come by. This will be what? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think it's episode
5.
6.
No, 5 shows that I'll be doing this week.
Oh, wow.
So tonight I am appearing on RDX. So it's crazy. So today, obviously, breakfast with Xbox Factor. I'm mixing your Monday show. Tonight, RDX. Tomorrow, all of us meet up again to talk about the PlayStation showcase. Thursday, me and Danny. Friday, Xbox Infinite. Wow. Xbox Infinite is at 8:00 Eastern, by the way, if you want to come by and support us. That is crazy.
You need to take some vitamins, brother.
Yeah, I gotta give me some vitamin. I ain't gonna say which one because y'all might turn into vitamin C and A. There we go. I'm skipping the obvious, but yeah, thank you all for coming through and holding us down. And Boom, and you of course for doing your thing, brother. And I still don't know how you do this 5 days a week. I'm astonished.
Yeah,
and I know you have to be tired. Now it's gonna be 6 days, 6 shows for you this week actually. So you're right there with me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, much love to everybody. Come by.
Actually, the we're not doing a Sony show. The thing that I sent you guys is for the post show of the Xbox show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Wait a minute. So tomorrow then is not for us. Then we're not.
No.
Oh, no.
Tomorrow is just primetime gaming.
Okay, cool. Okay,
yeah.
So I'm back dialed back
down to 5 shows or 4
okay,
shows.
Cool.
Yeah. No.
All right.
No,
well, I'm free. Anybody want to bring me through?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you want to join us, we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern for prime time. We're going to be talking specifically about the Sony show. So you're more than welcome to come in, drop your bars, and bounce after that. That's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I know you all will be crowded though, right?
It's just a regular panel of 6 people. That's it. So
he said a regular panel of 6.
A regular. Yeah, that's not a lot.
you all got your own
as
me. You're like, yeah, 6. That's nothing.
That's your own Wu-Tang clan right there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so listen, I'll drop the link for it, and you can just pop on. Yeah, we're gonna react to tomorrow evening on the Sony showcase on Primetime Gaming, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Real quick before we get to Retri, we have Nintendo drops an additional $2 super chat since midnight. We'll close the show and Shadow drop. Oh, Project Midnight would be. I don't even know what the game is going to be, but.
Is that the compulsion one?
That's the compulsion game. Supposedly, that's like BioShock meets Uncharted with a fantasy-like setting. It would be kind of dope. I mean, this game has been worked on for many years, so we don't know. Interesting thought, and of course, we got JD Gamer drops a very generous $5 super chat and says Starfield September, Forza October, major Halo update and content for November, Hellblade December, Avowed February. I mean, if they pull that off, that'd be crazy. And of course, my very good brother, all the way from the UK, holy cow, the Welsh Gamer is here. The Welsh Gamer drops a £5 super chat. It says, just arrived. Avowed gameplay is something I really need to see. Fable and State of Decay 2, State of Decay 3 as well. Hope you are well, gentlemen. Listen, I'm going to send you a link to join us on the Xbox post show. Welsh, I'll add you to the DM. We got to have you there, brother. Make it happen. It's going to be Sunday afternoon. But of course, Retri, let's sell your brand, brother. Now we got to get you to 1K on YouTube. Talk about it. Drop your link in there. We got 500 people still here. You do great videos daily for Xbox Game Pass
kinds
content.
Of links for you guys.
Drop all of those links in there, brother, and sell it. Sell your brand.
So many. All right, so you guys can follow me, Game Pass _daily on Twitter, and just Game Pass Daily on the YouTubes, like Boom was saying. Great conversation today, guys. Of course, Gamers Council also, I just dropped the link for that. We just passed 1,000 subscribers. Me and Dave have been working really hard on the show. We got a really good one coming up this Sunday with Mr. Badbit. We got BitCloud, and we got Red Dead Panda. If you guys know her, she's a great voice in the community.
Nice.
So it's going to be a packed show. It's going to be super exciting. But, and of course, join our Discord community, guys. We play games together, and it's all about fun. So any of these links, you guys are welcome to join the communities. And please subscribe to my channel. It's all about Game Pass where I'm from. So, yeah, it's going to be great.
Yep. And he does a great job over with Dave each and every Sunday. And obviously, you should follow him on Twitter, because if you're looking for the hot Xbox Game Pass news, there's no one better to follow and subscribe to than Retri for sure. Of course, again, a big thank you to all of the generosity. We had well over 700 people here, which is amazing. The show continues to grow, and that's thanks to you. And I will say that if you are finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to Double Barrel Gaming. We are on the hunt to 13K, and I think that we're well on our way there. So we're about just a little under 700 away. It'd be great to be able to hit that before the end of the year. But again, if you want 5-day-a-week content, Monday through Friday, all different panels, all great content, check out Double Barrel Gaming. You won't be disappointed. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that is important to me.
There was one last super chat from JD Gamer.
Let me see that. JD Gamer. Well, let me see. Oh, here it is right here. 2023 Year of Dreams Showcase for Sony, 2025 for Microsoft. I think both shows are going to hit. I don't know what Sony is going to do. I think we are owed a big show from them. I don't think they're going to disappoint, but they could. Microsoft has to deliver, and I think they're going to deliver in spades. I really do. I think it's just going to be one quote unquote banger after another, and I think we're going to get a lot of surprises. I mean, Phil Spencer said it. He's not going to be. He says, "Don't take his word for it till you got the controller in your hand." I think he's confident that what he's going to show is going to be big, and I think the surprises are going to be astronomical. I really do. I don't expect Scalebound there, to be honest with you, but I know some people are put that in their list. Me, I just want a banjo, but I know that's not going to be there either.
Why won't Scalebound die off? Like everybody keeps bringing Scalebound
because some of us still want it. Like me, I know I'm an idiot.
I still want a Scalebound.
I would want it too, but I just don't understand. Like the rumor
will not die.
It won't die.
Others of us never wanted it.
Some of us, some of us are. It was like,
all right. Well, listen. To each is everyone's own. But I am going to close out the show, folks, with something that's important to me. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you, and that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, "Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you, you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast."